You're listening to The Pete Shepherd Show.
Oh, hi there. How are you? Good morning, everybody. Hope you had a wonderful holiday weekend. I sure as hell did. Welcome to another edition of the Pete Shepherd Show here at the Coastal Sports Network. It is Tuesday, September 3rd. When last we spoke on Friday was August. Now it's September 3rd. How is everybody doing today? Man, oh man, do we have a lot to discuss. And if you are not a fan of college football, go away. But how can you not be a fan of college football? Even my friends up in New England who claim it's not a college football town. Well, you're probably going to start paying attention now to what Billy O'Brien and the Boston College Eagles did last night and absolutely destroyed Florida State. It was actually a bigger beating than what Georgia Tech gave them, a little while ago in Dublin, like 11 days ago. Unbelievable weekend of college football. Absolutely unbelievable. We're going to get to all of it. I got some great video. We'll start afterwards in a little bit with BC's win over Florida State last night in Tallahassee, 28-13. And Billy O'Brien took pity on them. It could have been a lot worse. He ran out the clock like a pro team would the last really 2 minutes of the game. So otherwise, they were right there. They would have scored again. They could have easily tacked on another 7-1, 35-13. But Billy O'Brien, being a class act, decided we'll just take a knee. We'll win like the pros do. We'll get into all of that. I am here for you, Florida State and Florida fans, you Gators and you Seminoles. I am here for you. Come and sit on my Cam Ward couch, and let's have a discussion about. I won't say, because if I say you're pathetic, it takes away from the fact that the University of Miami just went into Gainesville. I'm taking credit for it, by the way, because I was there, and just kicked your ass up and down the field. And BC did the same thing last night to the Seminoles in Tallahassee. Almost as bad. When you run the ball for 263 yards, did you see the Seminole players doubled over? It looked like they're the ones that weren't practicing in the heat all week. BC dominated them, the line of scrimmage, both ends, as did Miami against Florida. LSU, hello. Baton Rouge, hello. You can come to the couch too. Come to the Cam Ward courtesy couch. That's what I'm going to call it. The Cam Ward courtesy couch. If you sit on it, you learn how to win, and you learn how to dominate. Yes, I'm being overly cocky, and not one game does a season make. I get it, but it was so dominating last night and on Saturday. I will say, so Baton Rouge, hello. Who else? Brian Kelly, you can come too. The coaches, Billy Napier, Mike Norvell, Brian Kelly. I can't fist bump the table like he did because I'm liable to knock us off the air. But we'll show you in case you missed all these press conferences. How about Gundy talking about making a Connor Stallions reference the other night too on Friday? I mean, there is so much to talk about. But welcome to the Pete Shepherd Show here on the Coastal Sports Network video platform. I'm going to write it down so don't forget. This is the Cam Ward Healing Couch. That's what we're going to have today. The Cam Ward Healing Couch. You can come, you can sit on, you can lie down. I suggest that you lie down, and I'm going to have I'll put a headset on you. You can have relaxation music, just like you're having a massage, although I'm not giving out massage, but just to chill out. And coaches are welcome too. Brian Kelly, Mike Norvell, Billy Napier. I swear to God, it was, coming from New England, been down there now almost 8 years. But, sports radio was so funny when you listen to it out of market, when the home team gets embarrassed. And it's happened to me a few times for the Patriots, Bruins, Red Sox. It happens from time to time. There's nothing worse than staying on the air sometimes. When your team loses, you're going to be on the air until, for 3 hours afterwards. But I'm telling you, listening to the Florida Gators flagship station, I don't even know what it is, after the game, as I was back at my hotel room. Oh my God, call after call after call. They want Billy Napier shipped to the moon. And they never want to see him again. It was hysterical to listen to it. It was classic. I mean, people just just oozing venom at Billy Napier. And I'm sure Mike Norvell is getting it too. And I can't wait. Maybe either tomorrow or Thursday, we're going to talk to Mia O'Brien as well. And I think she had the weekend off. I don't think she had to cover Florida State, but I'm sure that her station was a flagship of the Jaguars. And I believe they carry Florida State where she is too. I'm sure the reaction must be after last night, just a dominating Boston College team by Billy O'Brien. I mean, they dominated them right out of the gate. That's a good BC team. We weren't just, John Meter Perel. I texted him right before kickoff and everything else, told him and the boys to have a great season. I thought they would cover. By the way, Angel, my picks from Friday, 4-1, and the only one I lost was the one I really thought was going to fly over the total. But stupid LSU could only get 6 points out of 3 possessions in a row at the 15-yard line, you jackasses. So that the over didn't cover. That was the only one I lost. I had BC plus the number. I had Miami minus 2.5. I had Georgia, and I had Notre Dame. All 4 won, one loss. So 80% Angel to start the season officially on the Coastal Sports Network. So that is not bad. I will be keeping track of all my numbers, college and pro. Come Friday, we'll have our pigskin picks. I will pick against the spread for every single game, not just one. I will do it every single game. Last year, I was pretty close to about 60, almost 67%, which is really good. So I'm hoping to duplicate that this year as well. But a nice 80% to start the weekend, 4-1 for me, and hopefully you all capitalize. But thanks for checking us out here on the Coastal Sports Network video platform, on Twitter X at PShep326, at Facebook SR1029 and SR1029thegame.com, Ion TV, CSN or Florida, Rumble, Spotify, LinkedIn, Twitch, YouTube, and call or text 727-858-6650. And Angel, I'm sure you saw on my Facebook page, I posted a lot of video, a lot of pictures. It was an amazing weekend. As we say good morning to Angel Martinez, executive producer extraordinaire, and host of Martinez and Company. It was an amazing weekend. I want to shout out to my buddies, Lou, who set this all up. He lives out in the Delray Beach area. And I'd never met him before. We've been Facebook friends for years. We both come from New England. He's been down here actually longer than me. And he was like, we're the only two Italian guys that, like the University of Miami since forever, because he's only a year younger than me. And it was just, we had a lot in common. He set this whole thing up. Tickets to the game. We were 20 rows up on the 50-yard line. It was absolutely the best seats in the house. And there were a shitload of Hurricane fans there. A lot. Get to that in a second. Thanks to Lou and also his cousin Derek, great guy, and Sean, their good friend Sean, who's got connections with Capone's, the one in Fort Lauderdale, which is great. We were there for the pre-party Friday night. I posted some of the videos. It was you can check it out on my Facebook page. A lot of fun. Good time. But I was out of there by 9:30. It started at 6:30. I was out of there by 9 or 9:30. I'm way past nightclub, nightlife, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
One of them didn't get it. Both of those other guys, Lou's married, but he went home. He went back to the hotel like I did. The other two stayed out for a while. They're both single, and one of them stumbled in at 2:30 in the morning. I was at different hotels, but I heard some of the stories. It was pretty funny afterwards. But it was an amazing experience. The Swamp is an amazing experience. Biggest crowd I've ever seen in my lifetime. That place holds over 90,000. I've been to a lot of Super Bowls. That was the first real, in my lifetime, real big-time college football game. With all due respect to Alumni Stadium in Boston, which I've been to many times, that only holds a little over 40. This is 90,000 plus. And I mean, it was hot as hell. I went back and watched the whole game again, or fast forward through some of the parts, but I listened to Joe Tessitore and Jesse Palmer. Yes, the same one that's on Food Network. And they were, when we got there, I'm like, this is going to be tough for a lot of people because it was roasting, as Joe Tessitore said, it was roasting early in the morning. The game started it was 3:30 in the afternoon. So it was the peak of heat and it was brutal. 10 bottles of water at least. Thank God there were only $5, which isn't bad for a stadium. A lot of times they charge $8 and $9. But the pre-party was terrific. The pre-party was unbelievable. The the part that Lou set up, this big Miami Hurricane tent, huge buffet of wonderful barbecue that they had out there. It was fantastic. Then the band came in with the cheerleaders. Joe Echeverria, the president of the school, was there, made a speech to all of us. It was great, as was the athletic director, Dan Radakovich, was there as well. So it was just, and the band played and the fight song and everything else. And it was a really, really cool atmosphere, a cool campus. Shout out to the people of Gainesville. Very nice, very classy. All the police officers there, the sheriff's department, great, great people. When my Uber dropped me off before the game, it was around 12:30, and a lot of the roads are shut down as you would expect for football games around various parts of the country. But on a big campus like Florida, beautiful campus, by the way, I probably was about a mile away or half a mile away from where I had to be. So after asking 3 or 4 people, everybody very polite, and I had my Miami gear on too. I was expecting somebody to send me in the opposite direction. Like I need to get to, Reeds Hall. Which way is that? They're all very, very nice. The police officer was very, very nice. Everybody had a good time. I didn't see one fight. And let me tell you, there were a ton of University of Miami fans there, a ton of Canes fans. My section alone, in section 36, I'd say 80% were Miami fans behind the Miami bench. And then there were other sections around the stadium that were lots of Canes fans. And as we're, coming up the concourse and everything else, everybody's, playful bantering back and forth. Everybody, it's all about the you. It's all about the, and then, of course, the Gator people do this, and then they go like this down, and but it was not hostile at all. I didn't see there was no hostility. If anybody started to say anything, the best line was either a Gator person or a Canes person would say, "We have one thing in common: we both hate Florida State." So that's what everybody doing. So everybody it was like one big happy. But it was very nice to see. There were no altercations that I saw. I'm sure a lot of people got taken out for dehydration, heat stroke, whatever, because it was ridiculous, especially sitting on the stadium where I was. We weren't covered, and the sun was right at us, which is why you might not be able to tell on this camera, but big, nice tan, big Rocky, my sunglasses on, and the Rocky Raccoon tan that you get. But it was hot as hell. I have never been, hotter in my life, than that game. It was really unbelievable. And you had to hydrate. We had like one cocktail before the game. That was like 3 hours before we even went in, and that was it, because you can't be drinking in heat like that and go into a stadium. You won't make it. I'm sure there were a lot of casualties, not deaths, but a lot of casualties, people that could not make it. A lot of people were going up to the concourse. It was a little cooler. They actually had some sort of air conditioning thing going, and people were headed up there from time to time. But we'll get into the game. We'll get into the reaction and all of that. But Angel, good morning. How was your weekend?
It was good. Good morning, Pete. I ended up taking a little bit of time off just from the normal grind, but it was pretty good. Other than me enjoying what the Miami and Gators game. I've never seen, I think, so many memes that came from there. They showed some of the Gators that were pretty much in the swamp, like literally in the end zone, when he just watched them just going down into the swamp. It was meme after meme after meme.
How about that kid? Did you see the kid on TV? Again, I only know this when I came home and rewatched the game. The kid on TV for Florida had his chin on the thing. The Testator's ripping. He's like, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
And then his buddy calls him on his phone, and he gets all chipper. And then so they made fun of him there. I want to start with. We got a lot of video to play. Let's start with Damien Woody. We're going to start with BC and Florida State, since that's the most recent game from last night, and it was an ass whooping by the Eagles. Billy O'Brien and that team made a pretty big statement. By the way, Florida State, the first team since I believe 1936 to start 0-2 while being ranked in the top 10 for both weeks. All right. Damien, what do you know? Former BC center, and obviously played with the Patriots and the Jets as well, and now an analyst on ESPN. Here's his analysis of the game last night.
We smashed them boys down in Tallahassee, man. Smashed them boys.
Great analysis. Great analysis. And it was a butt whipping. And DJ Uiagalelei, the quarterback that Florida State got, they didn't get Cam Ward because Cam chose the good guys in Miami. But it just goes to show you once again. I mean, they were calling for his head. They wanted Brock to come in. It was that bad. They're going to have to find. I don't know. They got Memphis coming up in 10 days, I think, or next week or 10, whatever it is. They have a bye week. Florida State has a bye week this week, so then they have Memphis, a really good Memphis team that scores a lot of points. But BC just dominated them. It was only 293 yards on defense allowed to Florida State. Castellanos was effective. Only threw the ball 16 times, was 10 of 16 with 2 touchdowns. The big story, though, you got to love this. Treshaun Ward totaled 138 yards, 13-yard touchdown reception against his former team. He left Florida State to go play for Boston College. And he's from your area. He's from Tampa. Treshaun. Yep, Treshaun Ward's from Tampa. He was at FSU from 2019 to 2022, had 77 yards rushing, 61 yards receiving, and total 263 yards. The BC Eagles dominated on the ground, in the line of scrimmage, in the trenches. 263 yards rushing the Eagles had. And they had to take some losses for the kneel downs at the end. Again, they had a chance to put up another 7, which most coaches would have. But not Billy O'Brien. He didn't do it. He took a knee, the 4-yard line or whatever it was. And BC goes on to win 28-13. Eagles offense produced touchdown drives of 71 yards, 68 yards, 60 yards. BC defensive back Max Tucker also intercepted DJ and his 58-yard return set up the Eagles on the Florida State goal line for another touchdown. What else we got? DJ completed only 50% of his passes, 21 of 42 for 272 yards and a 29-yard touchdown pass to Kentron Poitier in the third quarter. That cut the lead to BC to 21-13, but you just never felt like Florida State was going to get back in it because they were getting pummeled at the line of scrimmage on both sides. And FSU scored on just 1 of their 6 drives in the second half. So BC played without Logan Taylor, who started 12 games at Virginia in 2023. He had 23 career starts. And Florida State played without their starting right tackle, Jeremiah Byers, and 2 reserve linebackers, Omar Graham Jr. and Sean Murphy. Wide receiver Hakeem Williams missed his second straight game. None of the injuries were specified. So Florida State's going to drop out of the top 25. There's no way they can keep them in. I think the rankings come out later today. BC should be in it. Miami should jump up. Florida wasn't in it anyway. The Seminoles rushing last night, Angel. I don't know if you saw this stat. Guess how many yards they had total? They rushed the ball. The attempt 16 carries. Guess for how many yards?
16 carries. I'm going to go less than 100 yards.
21.
Good Lord.
21 yards on the ground. That's it. That's it. Absolutely unbelievable. 16 attempts, 21 yards. BC wins 28-13. It could have been a lot worse. I mean, and they should definitely be ranked when it's all said and done. Let's see. Okay, this is. Let's scroll up to awful announcing, Angel. It's the second one down. This is what happened at the end of the game. We'll show you. And Louis Riddick, who was the color analyst last night on ESPN for the game, he'll talk about, was this just as bad as running up the score? No, not that one.
Not that one?
No, awful announcing. It's the one below that. The one below that.
Oh, there it is.
Yep, that's the one. Okay, here's Louis Riddick's assessment down the stretch here.
Well, it's an NFL coaching staff, and they are taking the NFL approach. A lot of times college football teams would look to put their second, third, maybe fourth stringers in there, and I think it had the score. But NFL coaching staffs, they come from the world of just win the game. And Bill O'Brien with the game now in a spot where it is over with 3 knees. They're just going to take 3 knees.
I think in some ways it's worse what they're doing. If I was Florida State, I'd be like, so you're showing us mercy, huh? Like, if that is not an explanation point on this game, I don't know what is. We don't need to score. We could, but guess what? Look up at that scoreboard.
Yeah, we've proved our
rushed
point.
for 270 yards. I mean, what is this, Nebraska 1985? 270 yards?
And Lewis, here is a list that you don't want to be on once, much less twice. And Florida State is about to be on this list for a second time, as they are about to become the 4th preseason AP top 10 team to begin a year 0-2 in the last 10 years.
All right, and now if we could scroll down 2 more on Awful Announcing again. This was on Scott Van Pelt show last night. See what you think about this. Because there was a guy on, he'll bring it up. There's a guy on who tweeted out something disgusting and then deleted his account. But we're going to find him, and you'll hear why in a second.
Oh boy, let's see.
Team's down, that's understandable. They're not down as bad as that dude on the internet who said he'd eat dog poop out of a Solo cup. But then you think you just get to delete your account, and the internet ain't going to forget that, buddy. You don't get to just keep it moving and get a new name or something. People are going to find you. That's how that works. Florida State, team's down, that's understandable.
Yeah, so this guy on
They're
the
not
internet
down as bad as
said, the guy on the internet said if you tweeted it out, if Boston College beat Florida State, he's a big Seminole fan, obviously, he would eat dog poop out of like an ice cream cup or something. And of course, when that happened, when they lost, when Florida State lost, he deleted his account. But he's out there. You know who you are. You're out there.
Oh man.
Oh my God. And I'll tell you, this is only the beginning. Wait till you see some of the other video I have when we come back from break in a little bit. Let me see what else. Close the book on this one. Oh, as somebody tweeted out, Adam Lichtenstein, who from the Sun Sentinel, who I follow, and he follows me. He has the Florida football rankings, his own Florida football ranking. Number 1, Miami. Number 2, UCF, Central Florida. Number 3, USF. Number 4, FAMU. Number 5, IMG Academy. Number 6, Blanche Eli High. 7, West Florida. 8, Florida. And 9th, Florida State.
Holy mollies.
Oh, my goodness. So much. It's just like I said, my Cam Ward healing pouch is open to anybody. Anybody. Jerry says you're the man, Pete. Straight. Yeah. Oh, man, this is going to be fun. I don't relish in making fun of Florida State fans. I don't hate Gator fans. You know, I don't really hate Gator fans. I feel your pain because I'll tell you, what's really interesting is Florida looked like Miami did back when they lost the last about 4 or 5 years ago. Remember 1 year, 5 years ago, they opened up against LSU in a neutral place and they got killed. The next year they opened up against Alabama. They looked horrible. So look, I feel your pain, Florida, but this is like what they were talking about. Billy Napier. Oh my God. The head coach of the Gators, just unbelievable. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break here and then come back on the show today. You loved him last week. We're bringing it back. Jay Flannery from BeebsWorld.com. He's up in Ann Arbor. Wolverines struggled a little bit against a tough Fresno State team, but we'll get his thoughts. Eventually, they won by 20. But they have Texas this week at the Big House. Holy crap. Is that going to be something? That's at noon. We'll get his thoughts on that. And then it's going to be mostly college football and NFL. But at 9:30, Mick Colaggio is going to join me. I have a major announcement about him that you're going to love. And also, he's got some Bruins news, some Boston Bruins news, some stuff going on with Jeremy Swayman, the goalie. I want to get his thoughts. Plus, he is a former professional tennis linesman, so he follows tennis very closely. We'll get his thoughts Also, quickly on the U.S. Open and other stuff. Gas Pump Guy says, "Good morning, fellas. Hope you have a great day. Hey, how about them Canes, baby? Waters the man and the defense." Yeah, the whole thing was just, we're going to get into that in a second. I have one of the most hysterical rants that I have heard in a long, long time from a Florida Gator fan that you may know, but it is absolutely hysterical. We'll get to all of that. Don't forget, follow us across the video platform. You can call or text the show, 727-858-6650. This is the Pete Shepherd Show here on a Tuesday on the Coastal Sports Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
What's up, Southwest Florida? Jim and the Beef Guy here. Fort Myers, we answered your call. We're pumped to announce the opening of our second location. It's on 41 just north of the Edison Mall. And guys, nothing's changed here. The beef, the sausage, the breaded steak, our Maxwell Polish. Now serving you in 2 locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. And don't forget, if you're having a party, check out our catering menu. Hey guys, when you're at the counter, don't call it Gardenia. It's pronounced Jardiniere.
Ion Tampa Bay is the latest news, weather, and traffic for Pinellas, Pasco, Ellsboro, Hernando, and surrounding communities. Stay connected on X, Facebook, and their website, iontp.com. Ion Tampa Bay keeps you informed on breaking news as it happens. Southwest Florida's newest game in town. Sports Radio 102.9, the game powered by Ion Tampa Bay. We'll be right back.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad, just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hey, Dad, your prescription will be ready in just a minute. Hey, Dad, your laundry will be ready in just a minute. Dad, your lunch will be ready in just a minute.
Hey, honey, why don't you take a minute?
When you help care for a loved one, you give them as much time as you can, making sure they're safe and comfortable. But it's just as important that you take some time for yourself. At AARP, we can help with information and useful tips on how you can maintain a healthy life balance, care for your own physical and mental well-being, and manage the challenges of caring for a loved one. Because the better care you take of yourself, the better care you can provide for your loved one.
Thanks, Dad.
Thank you.
You're there for them. We're here for you. Find free care guides to support you and your loved one at aarp.org/caregiving. That's aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
All right, class, let's hear what everyone did this weekend. Jill?
Well, I raised my older sister to a big oak tree. It was at least 100 years old. My mom said I must have set a record or something. And then we went down by a stream and perched up on this huge rock and saw all of these little minnows swimming around way below us. And then I rescued my little brother from an evil slug king who was guarding him in the bush fortress. And my sister and I brought him back to our super twig fort for safety. And then we all laid out and told stories until it got dark. And the Big Dipper led us all the way home.
Awesome. Where were you, Jill?
Yeah. We went to the forest. It's not that far away. Anyone want to come this weekend?
Ask your parents to take you and your friends to the forest this week and find the fun, adventurous you. It's closer than you think. Check out discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Don't spaz out because your team lost. Let Pete do it for you. Now, back to the Pete Shepherd Show.
Welcome back. It's the Pete Shepherd Show. After a long weekend, we are back. Hope you all had a great weekend wherever you are around this great country of ours and, of course, around the world. The phone number is 727-858-6650. Thanks for checking us out across the Coastal Sports Network. Awesome video platform on Twitter, X at PShep326. You can follow me there. Facebook, SR1029thegame.com. Ion TV, CSN Florida, Rumble, Spotify, LinkedIn, Twitch, and YouTube. Good stuff. All right, Angel, I meant to, if we could go back to Total Sports Prep here, or for the first time today, go to Total Sports Prep, BC Sound, the BC Florida State Sound. There's some stuff I did want to play here for you guys. Let's see. What's a good cut? I mean, it's mostly all. It's just all bunch of highlights for Boston College. Let's just play the coaches. Let's start at the top. Angel, Billy O'Brien, proud of his team after the win. This was on ESPN last night.
Billy O'Brien.
Okay.
Man, you have been part of wins at every level, but to win this one,
yes, sir.
They always say, Bill, that winning on the road is the most satisfying thing there is to do, man. You tell me, to be able to take your guys in and leave with this dominating win, how satisfying is it?
It's really satisfying. These kids, since the day we walked in here, which was 7 months ago, they've given us everything that they've had. They're tough guys. We talked about, winning it up front. BC, the tradition of offensive lines, defensive lines. We won the game up front. We established a line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, and I thought these guys did a great job. And I'm so proud of these guys, Scott. It's only one win,
sure,
but to come down here and with all the work they put in, really proud of them.
In camp, Bill, you might have an idea about guys. You might think you know, but until you really are out there and you put 60 minutes on the clock with somebody else, right, another team, you don't know for sure. So what was validated tonight that you believed might be true about your guys, and now you know it is?
Yeah, it's a great point. When you come into these first games, it's not like the NFL where you have some preseason games and you can kind of figure some things out. In college football, this is it. You open up at Florida State, and there were some unknowns, but I knew this was a tough team, Scott. I really did. I knew that these kids had, poured everything into being mentally and physically, tougher than they were 7 months ago, and I'm like I said, I'm proud of that. Again, one win. We got to turn the page really quick because we play on Saturday, but very satisfying to come down here and get a win.
We showed a brief bit of the highlight. It's so hard not to think Kyler Murray when I see Castellanos run around, because he's not the biggest guy, but he's incredibly dynamic with his feet and with his arm. And we're showing some of these plays here. He's a tough dude, too. How do you describe, Bill, what he gives behind that offensive line that clearly did its work tonight?
Yeah, I mean, you got to give Tommy a lot of credit. Tommy has he's worked very, very hard to get to this point. Obviously needs to continue that work ethic throughout the season, but he's an electric player. He's a guy that wants the ball. He's a winner. He's been a winner at every level, and we're really excited and glad that he's on our team, that's for sure.
All right, I'm going to close with this because, as I said, you've coached at this level. You've coached grown men and pros in the NFL. How do you balance, Bill, the knowledge that these are young men that need some guidance, they can't go crazy, with at the same time wanting to let them really enjoy what it is they just did?
24-hour rule, right, Scott? 24-hour rule. We'll let them celebrate a little bit. We don't get back till 4:30 in the morning. You know, we got to turn around, and they'll have tomorrow off. It's a mandatory day off, and then we'll be back ready to go on Wednesday. But they got 24 hours, and they'll celebrate. And then I think it's a pretty business-like team. We'll find out, though, right? We'll find out. We've got to be that way, but we're looking forward to it.
I was worried about your hydration. It's hot and humid. You're putting the test on that quarter sip right there.
Yeah.
Get a water or whatever it is you want to celebrate with tonight, Bill.
With friends like you, who needs enemies, right? Oh, man, I knew you'd point that out, all the sweat. That's right. No, you're right.
Kind to throw the headset on and visit, man. It's great to cross paths again. We'll do it again, all right?
And then, okay, and we'll stick with it. I have some comments and thoughts on what he said in a second. Let's scroll down one more out of this one. Let's go to the third to last cut, Angel, Mike Norvell on FSU's 0-2 start.
It comes down to me, and it comes down to me being able to prepare this team to go out there and play to the capabilities that I believe that they have. And you got a football team that's hurting. You got a football team that nobody envisions being ever being where we are. And having disappointment, having failure. But it's. I do believe in what this team can do. And I believe in what this team can accomplish. I've got to get better. I've got to prepare them better, and obviously we've got to do everything in our power to be able to apply the things that we're emphasizing throughout the course of the week, through the course of the game. And we need leaders to rise up. We need to continue to push, in all areas of what we're doing, and we got to do it together. And there's going to be. I know there's going to be plenty of negativity around this program. I understand that. Right? When you perform the way we just did, that's all part of it. But for a football team, you got to stay together, and you got to make sure that you're there for each other. We've been knocked down, and we know how to get up, but we've got to go do that.
Like that song too.
One thing to talk about it. It's another thing to put it into action, and then to be able to perform in the moment, throughout the course of the game. But I do believe in this team, and I believe in what we can do, and I believe in how we can respond. But obviously there's a lot of work to be done, because that does not look like Florida State football with what we just did.
Basically, you're done because Florida State has to win out. They got to win to even be considered now for college football playoff. They have to win out, which is highly unlikely. Highly unlikely. All these Mike Norvell's had a lot more success, obviously, his time at Florida State than Billy Napier has at Florida. But I would be so frustrated if you're a Seminole fan the last couple of weeks, and if you're a Gator fan for the last couple of years, you keep hearing the same shit. And Brian Kelly too, which we'll get to him in a second, in a few minutes. Over and over again, I got to do better. I got to coach better. I got to put people in better position. I mean, Brian Kelly's a whole other story. That is inexcusable. LSU losing that game the other night to USC. Absolutely inexcusable. And at the end, taking targeting penalties. You got to be more disciplined than that.
Yeah.
But anyway, go ahead, Angel.
That was bad. I watched that one, and that was really stupid. That's a penalty. You could have won that game easily, and then you turn around and you do stupid stuff like that at the very end of it. So yeah, that and then listen, Eagles fans are brutal. I think Florida State fans last night, and you barely see stuff like maybe on message boards and stuff like that, but holy craps, were they unloading on Norvell. And then it's just, at the press conference, and the only thing that was needed there on that part there was I get knocked down, but I get up again.
Yeah.
Because I thought the same thing when he was mentioned last night. But it was Florida State fans, I think, have pretty much had it.
Well, I mean, look, they were undefeated last year. They didn't get, they didn't get in because of the quarterback got hurt and a couple of the players. And Georgia should have fielded the ones that I felt Georgia should have got in. They get sprint. But at least Mike Norvell, the last couple of years, he's won a lot of games.
Right.
They haven't won the national chair. They won a Billy Napier's and a whole other. It's both coaches are really, really feeling the heat right now. Angel, if I could have you scroll down, and it's a ways. It's after the Billy Napier stuff. Right underneath it is Josh Prey, who I believe is a comedian from Naples. But this went viral, and I'm glad I found it. This is right after.
Are we talking Twitter?
On Twitter, yeah, on
Right.
Twitter. Yep. It's going to scroll down the list. It's after the Mike Norvell stuff, and there was a
Josh Frey.
Josh Prey. Yep. This is one of the great rants of all time, and
Oh boy.
and he's a Florida Gator fan, and here's his reaction and analysis and summation after the Miami Hurricanes went into Gainesville in the swamp and kicked their ass. Here we go. Listen to this.
My name is Josh Bray, and I come to y'all humble as I can. It's game one. I love the Florida Gators. I die for the Florida Gators. The University of Florida football team has me sitting in front of a Denny's, damn it. When the last time you on purpose went and sat in front of a damn Denny's, damn it? I'm not saying nothing disrespectful to Denny's, but there's a lot of other options. And that Gator team, after watching, Miami fans came in there. I've never seen nothing like this. It would look like it was about 12 of them at the start of the game. And then it multiplied. Went from 12 to 20,000 to 40,000. They had a little corner in the left side of the stadium over there, and they were saying things I wanted to know so bad what they was chanting at us. And then the damn quarterback, he was moving in fast, slow motion. He was looking like Neo in the Matrix. He ain't look that great, but damn it, he was great. There were so many Haitian men and Cuban men and Asian men and women and white men and women. Miami brought a melting pot. They brought a whole damn crayon to the University of Florida, and they just scribbled all over our damn stadium. I am 40. I'm trying to lose weight. The doctor said if I yell, my blood pressure gonna be high. My blood pressure is higher than Carmen Electra ass in the 90s right now. You understand me? I am in front of a damn Denny's right now. A Denny's right now. That is Denny's out there. Florida Gators, y'all supposed to make me want to go to Roof Chris. Y'all supposed to make me want to go to Roof Chris and get a medium steak, because I know how to eat a medium steak now, in the water with a couple lemon. I want to be exotic. I throw a lime in there. But no, you got me in Denny's where I'm not sure if the damn plates are clean and they wash their forks. But you know what? I don't care. I ain't finna go in here and ask for no plastic. My fat ass finna go in here and sit at the bar. You know how pathetic I gotta be to sit at a damn bar in Denny's? I'm not going to Texas no more, Miami. I'm not going to Texas. I am going to Texas. I'm just going, because y'all took everything else away from me. You might as well take the rest of the little bitty ass money I got, because y'all came to Gainesville on the damn Saturday at 3:30 and ruined my damn day. I got a whole night to go through. It was so many, Carolina said that. South by say, they throwing up the stupid ass you, touching their thumbs at the same time. And then the Miami women fan base is so damn fine that you mad and you angry, but everything they wearing is hypnotic. I'm talking about from 25 to 65. I seen a woman that was 72 years old with a white sweater. Baby, you can take them to... I can't go through this no more. I can't do this no more. All I want to do is tell jokes and root for the Gators, and we win a little bit. I understand we're going to lose sometimes. My delusion has become real. My delusion has become real. My delusion is real. I am in front of a damn Denny's right outside of Gainesville, and I am stressed. My box is just broke right now.
Now, I'm pretty sure he plays locally here at in Naples, not too far from where I live, and Off the Hook Comedy Club and other places. But I mean, I could keep that on a loop for a day, and my face hurts. I'm laughing so hard. And I've seen it like 5 times now. We'll play it again a little bit later on. Is that not one of the great rants of all time? And Denny's, by the way, that Denny's was right down the street from where I was staying. But I knew it was going to be there. I ended up going at the end after I got home and back to the hotel. You know, I'm talking. I had to have lost 10 pounds of water weight easily. So chilled for a half an hour, took a nice long shower, and then I ended up going to Applebee's by myself because I didn't feel like it. Luckily, I was only staying like 5 miles from the stadium, and I just felt like going basics. I went to Applebee's and had a nice meal by myself. I was surrounded by very depressed Florida Gator fans. I did not wear any Miami garb in there. I didn't want to rub it in. I wore a black polo and some nice shorts, and I just sat there and had a couple of vodka sodas. I was literally a mile away from the hotel, and a nice bacon a cheeseburger with no fries, but garlic green beans, which were delicious. And I just listened. I just listened. There were a few Miami Hurricane fans that came in, families, and they were fine. No ruckus or anything else. But to hear the Gator fans talk around the bar, men and women alike, old and young, I had to keep putting a napkin over my face because I couldn't stop laughing. I couldn't, and they were all saying the same thing. None of them were ripping Miami or the fans or anything like that. They're just going to town on Billy Napier, just going to town on him. Crazy. And speaking of Billy Napier, let's scroll up there's a couple right here. Let's start with the first one. The second one. This is how it started for Billy Napier after the game. He couldn't even get the damn water bottle open. Now, a lot of times somebody at staff will undo that and stuff. But look, watch this. This is Billy Napier at the beginning of the press conference.
I did see this. It was the captions were great.
What do we have? Go ahead.
Yeah, Coach. I mean, given the experience and how confident you were in this team going into the season, just how surprising was this performance?
Yeah, I mean, it's embarrassing, to be quite honest with you. Yep.
Get it open.
That's how I feel. That's how our kids feel. We've got a decision to make. You know, I mean, I think we have. That's what I just do. We have. Go ahead.
Okay, now that's funny enough and just pathetic enough. And then Billy Napier does the ultimate no-no. He takes a shot at the Gator fan base, which is just flat out stupid, just absolutely stupid. He got reamed yesterday on by Feinbaum, by everybody on ESPN. We'll get to something that said, but here's the video, part of it anyway, of him taking a shot at the Gator fan base.
We got to go to work on the football part, you know, and I think we got to get more. We got to become a more consistent team, and we have to execute better. And if we can focus on those things and not necessarily what some guy in his basement saying in, you know, rural Central Florida on social media, then we got a chance to get better, right? So we got to go to work on the football part.
Okay, there's no basement.
Oh, Billy. Stupid, dumb, ignorant, arrogant. You don't talk like that about people who are paying your salary and are diehard fans. That is not a good look for Billy Napier, and he got creamed yesterday for those comments. And I'll bet you at some point today he might backtrack on them. But that was after the game on Saturday around 6:30 or 7 o'clock, actually. It was a long game. But you cannot, Angel, you cannot go after a fan base like that, especially as loyal as that. 90,000 people. Yeah, I'd say 20,000 were Canes fans. It certainly seemed that way. But you can't go after a fan base like that and say, you know, your mom's basement. Talk show hosts say that all the time. Hey, you rip people and you rip the host and everything. Yeah, you're sitting in your mom's basement. You can't be a big-time college football coach and a big-time football program and disrespect your fan base. It was stupid.
I can't believe the amount of Miami fans that were there. What happened first of all, to the Swamp, which normally sells out, and it's hard to get a ticket to go in there. But holy crap, man. It was
sold out. You couldn't move. It was Sardine City. And a lot of men taking their shirts off. And, you know, everybody was just taking their shirts off, not me. But, I mean, you know, dumping water all over themselves. There were a shitload of Canes fans there. I was stunned. I was stunned at how many came to Capone's. Like 400 tickets were sold for the Capone's event. They weren't all there at the same time. They were all there at the same time. But, no, I mean, they weren't all in there. No, it's an average size nightclub type of place. There weren't 400 people in there at once, but They sold 400 tickets. And there were a few hundred people at the big party that we were at on Saturday, the big tailgate party before. But, yeah, I mean, it was mostly Gator fans. Obviously, they were in the stadium, but there was a ton of way more than I thought there would be for that game. People just bought up the tickets, especially behind the Miami bench. So for whatever reason, they were available. My buddy Lou, who travels and goes on road trips with his team a lot, you know, this was a bucket list. We talked about, like I said, I'd never met him before until face-to-face until we went up there. But he's like, look, He goes, "This is a bucket list item." I'm 20. I got section 36. We were in row 20, seats 23 through 26, right on the 45/50-yard line, right behind the Hurricane bench. It was unbelievable. And some of the videos I posted on Facebook, if you want to check them out, not only from the party at Capone's on Friday, but just me going Facebook Live from the stands for a little bit. Billy Napier, by the way, 1-8 versus rivals, 2-11 versus ranked teams, 9-4 versus unranked teams, and 4 of those wins are FCS non-Power 4 teams. 2-4 versus Vanderbilt, Missouri, and Kentucky, and on a 6-game losing streak. He's not going to make it. And I know the schedule only gets tougher for the Gators.
Yep.
It only gets tougher. He's not going to make it through the month. I just don't see it happening. It's a $28 million buyout. It's a lot of money. Maybe he does. I mean, because of that, maybe. But Jimbo Fisher got bought out too. But Texas A&M, they don't care. There's so much money there. Not that the Gators don't have it, but I don't know how he is going to survive. I really don't. The rest of the way. Meanwhile, on the positive note for the Miami Hurricanes, I mean, they were just Cam Ward is the real deal. 385 yards, 3 touchdowns. The best thing about him was after the interception that he threw in the first half. Didn't bother him at all. Comes right back, marches him down the field. Boom, boom, boom. I mean, they dominated that game. And that atmosphere, that was the big. He said he had never, ever prepared as much as he did for any game in his college career like he did for that game against Florida. And, man, he looked every bit the part. He looked like the best quarterback in the country. He was flicking his wrist. He's doing Patrick Mahomes sideways stuff, flicking his wrist, just unbelievable. Him and Restrepo had a symmetry that was outstanding. The Gators couldn't stop the run at all in that game. It was, and if you take away the 71-yard run by Johnson to score the touchdown, the Gators didn't really do squat. I mean, you can't take it away. That was their big chunk play. They hardly had any chunk plays. Martinez, the transfer they got from Oregon State, was outstanding. He averaged 65 yards and 15 carries. That guy is a beast, and it's just the line, the protection. And every time that Florida tried to blitz, Cam Ward had an answer for it. Every single time. It was absolutely amazing. So he became the first Miami quarterback since 1979 to throw for 300 yards in his first start with the team. And Restrepo, which again was outstanding, 112 yards, a couple of acrobatic catches, including a 24-yarder for a touchdown. The other thing, too, was the tight end McCormick, who, if you've seen the videos for him, tight end from Miami, he's been playing college football for 9 years, but he's been so hurt. Ankle, ACL's torn. I mean, stitches all over his legs from different surgeries. He caught the first touchdown for the Gators. And for the Hurricanes. It was awesome. It really was. It was a great story. And ESPN's been running it with his showing about his mom and how he was a big recruit out of the state of Oregon, and he wanted to go to Oregon. He went there, and then he just continued. He only had played one full season. The rest was just, banged up all the time. Graham Mertz did not look good. 11-20, 91 yards with a pick. He got knocked out of the game. He was sacked 3 times. He obliterated him on the sack. The Gators, same old story from last year. Absolutely no progress on the defensive side of the ball. Now, I don't want to take away anything from Miami when you say that, because a lot of times we do that. The team that dominated, you say, okay, they dominated or the other team suck. And usually maybe it's a little bit of both. But in this case, Miami dominated. But the defensive struggles of the Gators, ongoing, no different. They allowed 38.3 points a game during that 5-game losing streak back in 2023. And they gave up 41, and it could have been worse. It could have been worse. All right.
Gaston guy, by the way, says, Pete, do you know what I like about Cam Ward? As he threw that one interception in the beginning, and then after that, he's like, he never even threw it. He was so calm and collective, just so confident. That's awesome. I like it.
Yeah, that's what I just said. And he reiterated that's what showed me the character of that guy. After he threw the pick, he didn't bother him, came right back out. He had a couple of great scrambles, too. And it's just like, not teasing the Gators at all, but just he kind of eased up and just kind of, just casually shimmied out of bounds and didn't take a hit. But there were some. But Graham Mertz took some hits in that game. He said sacked 3 times and got knocked out of the game. Then you had Lagway come in, which people were chanting for Lagway midway through the second quarter. The Lagway cheers were coming in. The kid, the true freshman, the 18-year-old out of Willis, Texas, was the top quarterback by the ESPN 300, and the Gators got him. And I believe you're going to be seeing him sooner rather than later. I don't think there's any question about it. All right, we're going to have more reaction coming up from the Miami, Florida game from Saturday. Brian Kelly will have his reaction, his little tirade that he went on, almost broke a table. Not really, but still kind of funny. We'll have that as well. Lots of good video. Again, coming up at the bottom of next hour, Jay Flannelly is going to be joining me up in Ann Arbor from Beavs World. Great football guy. We'll get his thoughts, and his Michigan Wolverines have a tough one coming up this week at home against Texas. That's going to be a great game. So we shall see. We'll talk to him about that. Then Mick Colagio at 9:30. We got some Bruins news to talk about a little bit, and some tennis news as well. Mick is very connected to the tennis world. So all that, some NFL news. Week 1, 2 days away. Baltimore, Kansas City's Thursday night. That's right. We're here. We're in full. It's going. It's going. But lots more college football talk coming your way next. We'll also have the Red Sox report by Moynihan Lumber as the Red Sox lose again, this time against the Mets. And we'll have that and some MLB rundown as well. All part of the Pete Shepard Show. And hour number 2 commences in a few minutes right here on the Coastal Sports Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber. And I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
What's up, Southwest Florida? Jimmy the Beef Guy here. Fort Myers, we answered your call. We're pumped to announce the opening of our 2nd location. It's on 41 just north of the Edison Mall. And guys, nothing's changed here. The beef, the sausage, the breaded steak, our Maxwell Polish. Now serving you in 2 locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. And don't forget, if you're having a party, check out our catering menu. Hey guys, when you're at the counter, don't call it gardenia. It's pronounced Jardin there.
To some people, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much. But that's not necessarily true. By 6 months, they're combining vowels and consonants. By 9 months, they're trying out different kinds of sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on some meaning. Especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Early screening and intervention can make a lifetime of difference and unlock a world of possibilities. Take the first step at autismspeaks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
The following is made possible by Dad.
Why was the basketball court all wet? Because the players kept dribbling all over it.
The dad joke. Corny, grown-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
Why do you have to be careful when it's raining cats and dogs? Because you might step in a poodle.
And kids that spend more time with their dads grow up to be smarter, more successful.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding.
And with any luck, funnier adults.
Why didn't the skeleton go to the dance? Because he didn't have any body to go with.
Dad jokes rule. So take a moment to make a moment and give your kid a laugh. It's as easy as going to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
That's really funny.
Okay, men, this is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go grocery shopping, Cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. I know you won't. Because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick and proud aunt. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing. But not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. 1 in 6. That little girl sitting alone at the playground, she can't play like the other kids. She doesn't have the energy because she's hungry. School lunch will be her only meal today. It breaks my heart that this is the reality in our country, but it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. This food is then provided to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about using your imagination, learning, and having fun. These children shouldn't have to miss out on simply being a kid because they're hungry. To find out how you can help end childhood hunger in your community, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
For the best in college football and NFL talk, check out The Pete Shepherd Show, 7 to 10 a.m. Monday through Friday.
All right, back here. It's hour number 2 of The Pete Shepherd Show here on the Coastal Sports Network. Thanks, everybody, for checking us out on the Coastal Sports Network video platform. You can follow me at PShep326 on X and Twitter, on Facebook at SR1029thegame.com, powered by Ion Tampa Bay, Ion TV, CSN Florida, Rumble, Spotify, LinkedIn, Twitch, and YouTube. And call or text the show 727-858-6650. Again, lots going on, lots of college football. Just a wonderful weekend. Some really good game, a lot of blowouts, but some really, really good games. We'll get to USC and LSU in a second and go through that. Those fans in Baton Rouge, my God, you have got to be livid. Absolutely livid. A game that you absolutely should have won, getting inside the 15-yard line 3 times and not even 15, not the 50, the 15, coming away with only 6 points. Absolutely ridiculous. Angel Martinez is here as well, executive producer, co-host extraordinaire. If you could scroll down, Angel, if we could get to the SV pod, this is going to do some more Kane stuff here. And Scott Van Pelt, along with the rest of us, thinks Miami looks dangerous. This is from his podcast a couple of days ago. It's right under, let's see, it's under, it says SV Pod. No, it's not. It's only, I think when you scroll past it. It's, let's see, it's about 8 stories down, 8 videos down.
Right here.
You see him in a white T-shirt. Yeah, that's it. You got it. You got it, baby.
Cam Ward is in the Matrix. He is operating on a different plane, Steve, where he has a casualness to what he's doing that almost looks nonchalant, but then you realize it's just that he's seeing in real time, and he's like, nah, I'm good. Slow motion, but fast at the same time. 385, 3 touchdowns. He's going to be that all year, which is why there have been years where Miami, you guys love to talk about the past, and all you got to do is get one little glimpse at it, and you're going to throw up the U and say we're back. And you've done it in the past few years, and you weren't. Well, you are now. Cam Ward is what takes you from being to, in my opinion, a scary-ass team, because I think what we saw today is not a one-off. I think that's who he will be all season long.
Hearing Coach Saban talk this morning after watching film of him, he was blown away. He's like, now, I don't like how he carries that ball with one hand, but man, when he's running, his eyes are always downfield.
Yeah, some good analysis there. And then, Angel, if we could scroll up right under the show is the first one. This is on the ACC network. pregame last night before the Boston College beatdown of Florida State. But this is the guys on the ACC network talking about Cam Ward again and the Miami Hurricanes.
I got to get your thoughts on Miami and what they did to Florida. And again, we haven't done accounting yet, but I think everybody who follows along would say just a snapshot of week one, Miami looks by far to be the best team in the ACC. Again, I know it's a one snapshot, but you can only talk about what you've seen. But how impressed were you with Miami?
Yeah, Pack, I can't wait to see your accounting and how creative you get to it. I'm wondering how many numbers will be in between Miami and whoever the next team is. I can't wait to see it. It was belt to behind down in the swamp all day long. I mean, they absolutely abused those guys up front. I was so impressed with the offensive line, moving piles, protecting Cam Ward. He got sacked one time, and he went on TV and said, that was my fault. I should have handled that play differently. But the best thing that I saw was Cam Ward answered the hype train time after time after time. This play in particular that you're watching, I mean, that's top first-round picks type stuff. I mean, he is rolling to his left, slams on the brake, throws it back right. Eddie, even to have the confidence to throw that ball is insane. And then it ended up being a dot for a touchdown. This guy is going to be through the roof. I cannot wait to see him grow each and every week.
Yeah, I'm excited about Cam, and he's even better than advertised. Just how calm he is and just that passion that he has for the game, that confidence that he gives over to the team. But really, it's going to be the running game for me. We all know that, hey, they got weapons on the outside, but when you got a 230-pound running back running the ball like Damian Martinez behind that big offensive line, it's going to be tough on teams. It's going to be hard to tackle this guy in the fourth quarter. Then you mix in that play-action pass. That Miami offense is going to be hard to stop. But it's really the defense for me as well. They played lights out. They're not getting a lot of attention because of how well Cam Ward and this offense look. But the defense did a great job. I know they gave up the 171-yard touchdown run, but outside of that, it wasn't many big plays. Right. So it was great to see this Miami defense stepping up as well.
Yeah, great job. And don't think for a second, and Angel, you're in the business, so I know you know this, but don't think for a second, even though ACC Network, the SEC Network, and the ESPN, it's all the same platform. They're all one big happy family, right? Wrong. Don't think they don't love that the ACC stuck it to, that was a huge win for the ACC. SEC, Georgia romped over Clemson. So, I mean, they have that. Alabama romped too. But that's a huge win for the network, for the ACC network. And you look at Miami's schedule coming up. They got the Rattlers from Florida A&M, an FCS team that they'll destroy on this. I'm sure the starters are not going to play a lot in that game, or they'll play a half a game, and then we'll see what happens, maybe 3/4. But they should win that one very easily, an FCS team. Then they will they could score 90 on Ball State. Ball State comes to Hard Rock on the following week on the 14th on the ACC Network at 3:30. And then, my friend, you're close to South Florida. You're close to USF program. Then the U goes to Ray J on September 21st. And I am telling you, I might even make the trek up for that game as well, the 2-hour drive. That is going to be – they better be really careful of their fans because Miami's going to take over. Yeah. If you saw the fans that went to Gainesville, they'll just – to go to USF is, 20 minutes, maybe half an hour to Boca, right? Not Boca, but to Tampa. I mean, maybe an hour drive. But that stadium is going to be filled with Hurricane fans. I'm telling you. Now, I'm sure USF. This is going to be, their whole student body should come out of the woodwork for this game, don't you think? I mean, you're close to that institution, and that is going to be that's going to be an unbelievable atmosphere.
That is going to be, because you figured USF fans, I mean, obviously they showed up here for week one, game one, over at USF. They kind of romped and routed their opponent 48-3. But yeah, you would think, especially being, the in-state rivals, it would be humongous. So if I'm USF fans, I would buy as many tickets as possible, because if you watch what the Gators didn't do, which was to sell out their stadium with all their fans, then Miami have a huge advantage. But I mean, these weeks to come, USF started out well, coming off the bowl game last year, Boca Raton. So It's gonna that's gonna be a big one.
Well, they're at Alabama tomorrow, next week. I mean, Bethune-Cookman, you know they're going to beat them. FCS school. Now they're at Alabama, 7:00 on Saturday night. Wow. That's on ESPN, by the way. Then they're at Southern Miss at 7:00. That should be a winnable game for them. And then they're home against Miami. That is going to, wow. But you got Alabama and the U in 2 out of 3 weeks. Yikes.
Yep.
But that should be that's going to be a great atmosphere up at Ray J for that game. Let's see. All right, let's get to what happened on Sunday night with USC and LSU. And USC wins 27-20. I thought this game had about half the points than I would have expected. But when you have LSU and their incompetence on offense leaves so many points inside the 15-yard line, I said just three drives inside the 15, you come away with 6 points. Absolutely unacceptable. If we can, Angel, one of the better rants of the weekend, Brian Kelly from Everett, Massachusetts, by the way. But he was a little angry. I thought he was going to turn green like the Hulk. A little angry. It's right under the Scott Van Pelt one about LSU's loss to USC. This is one of the better ones.
Disappointing when those guys perform and you don't get a victory.
Hell yes. Hell yes. I mean, and that's what I said to the team. I said, we had some guys played their butts off tonight, and we're sitting here again. We're sitting here again talking about the same things. About not finishing when you have an opponent in a position to put them away. But what we're doing on the sideline is feeling like the game's over. And I'm so angry about it that I got to do something about it. I'm not doing a good enough job as a coach. And I got to coach him better because it's unacceptable for us not to have found a way to win this football game. It's ridiculous. And it's crazy.
Disappointing when those guys perform and you don't get a victory.
God damn it! All right, if we could, Angel, can we go to Total Sports Prep on college football? And the first cut, Shannon Sharp reacts to Brian Kelly. This was on First Take yesterday.
I think it's BS. I think he should have led with what he finished with. I'm not doing a good enough job. He did the exact same thing last year, Molly, when Florida State thumped them. Clearly, we're not the team that I thought we were. No, you're not the coach that you thought you were. At some point in time, it comes down to coaching. It comes down to accountability. Now, you had 10 penalties for basically 100 yards. You either coach that behavior or you condone that type of behavior. But how about this? Oh, and their quarterback outplayed ours. Lincoln Riley outcoached you. The really great coaches, look at Dabo. When he got thumped by Georgia, he said, that's coaching. That's on me. Coach Saban used to do it all the time. The really, really good coaches, the coaches that can get to their players and get them to understand, even if a player makes a mistake or does something repeatedly, they'll take it and they'll get behind closed doors. If he wanted to have this type of conversation, guys, we talked about this all summer. We had this problem a lot last year. We started to feel good about ourselves, and we let teams back into the ball game, and that came back to bite us. If you wanted to do that behind closed doors, I got no problem with it. But Brian Kelly has a repeated behavior of doing this publicly, chastising his players and obfuscating himself of responsibility.
Okay.
Well, again, it's like a broken record. It's the same thing with Billy Napier. Billy Napier and Brian Kelly, it's the same old stuff over and over again. That's just, you got to be able to fit it. The penalties, that's a whole other different story. That's coaching, that's discipline. The stuff that happened at the end of that game with the targeting was just ridiculous. Both quarterbacks played really well, and Miller Moss played better, 27-36, 378 yards and a touchdown. And Nussmeier, Garrett Nussmeier, he's the real deal. I mean, 29-38, 304 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. But it came down. By the way, at Allegiant Stadium in Vegas, they had more people there than the Super Bowl. 63,969, and it looked like they were saying on the broadcast how it looked like Baton Rouge West. Shaq was there. Jaden Daniels was there as well. But it really it really came down to them not finishing those 3 drives, 6 points inside the 15-yard line. With that offense, absolutely unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable there. All right, Angel, while we have a minute here, let us do if we could have you scroll up to the baseball stuff. Or down, I should say, down to the baseball stuff. It's time now. Let me get everything set up here. For the Red Sox report, brought to you by Moynihan Lumber. Check out their complete line of Andersen windows and doors at any of their 3 locations in Beverly and North Reading, Massachusetts, and in Plastow, New Hampshire. Red Sox continue to decline here as I thought they would, losing a 4-1 to the Mets yesterday. Let me see here, get to my highlights. But weren't a lot of them in this game, but there were some. Okay. Here's one for you from Nesson. Cut number 1, Angel. Jarren Duran's RBI single, top of the 3rd.
Hot shot, base hit. That'll drive in a run. Rafaela will score. Duran wants second. Here's the throw, the tag, and he is out.
Great job driving in the run. Infield drawn in, and you're looking to just stay to the middle of the field. Give yourself a chance. He does that. And in Jarren Duran fashion, he is always looking to go too. And you saw how slow Marte got to the ball. And he saw that and thought, I have a chance to get on second base.
Yeah, and Jarren Duran has done that a couple of times this year. Well, he looks like a single. He turns it into a double. But anyway, he got the RBI. That's all the Red Sox could muster. And then we could play cut number 3. Here's how the Mets went ahead in the bottom of the 3rd. They didn't need any more after this.
Hello, at the end of the bat to center. It might have fooled Duran, and it gets over his head. Lindor races for third. He's being waved around. The relay throw by Valdez to the plate. Not in time. And the Mets regain the lead. After Nimmo couldn't catch Rafaela's drive to center field that went for a triple, he beats Duran over his head with a double to drive in the lead run, and it's 2-1 New York.
And that's all they need. Luis Severino pitched 7 good innings. And you just heard Francisco Lindor spark the Mets lineup again. And they crept closer to playoff position. The Mets did by beating the Red Sox 4-1 on Monday afternoon, I should say. What else happened? So 74-64, the Mets are 10 games over 500 for the first time since the end of the 2022 season. Meanwhile, let's see. Danny Young retired Rafael Devers on a grounder to strand 2 runners in the 8th. Duran had an RBI single, as you heard, in the 3rd for the slumping Red Sox, held to 1 run for the 3rd game in a row. All losses. Boston's 4.5 games back of Kansas City for the 3rd wild card spot. Brian Bayo, 12-7, pitched okay. Gave up 4 runs and 7 hits in 5 innings. Trevor Story for the Red Sox with a dislocated left shoulder went 0-3 with AAA Worcester in his 2nd rehab game. He should be back up with the big boys very soon, though. So next up, Carter Crawford for the Red Sox, 8-12 with a 4.12 ERA, scheduled to face the Mets' David Peterson, who's 8-1 with a 2.83 in the middle game of the series coming up tonight. So there is your Red Sox report, as always brought to you by Moynihan Lumber. Check out their complete line of Andersen windows and doors at any of their 3 locations in Beverly, North Reading, Massachusetts, and Plastow, New Hampshire. Elsewhere around Major League Baseball yesterday, you had Pittsburgh over the Cubs, 5-3. Baltimore, game was tied at 3. Then Baltimore just exploded and just eviscerated the White Sox like everybody else has done this year, 13-3. It was Milwaukee over St. Louis, 9-3. Cleveland doubled up Kansas City, 4-2. Cincinnati over Houston, 5-3. Dodgers over Arizona, 11-6. And that one, San Diego blanked Detroit, 3-0. Minnesota over Tampa Bay, 5-4. Oakland up by Seattle, 5-4. Yankees doubled up Texas, 8-4. But Garrett Cole left this game. Yankee fans should be concerned. He had some sort of calf injury, but they ended up beating Texas by a score of 8-4. A couple of booming home runs in that one as well, one by Giancarlo Stanton. But so there it is. There is your MLB rundown. Let's see what else we got coming up here. What else do I have that I wanted to play for you via video? Again, coming up at the bottom of the hour from Ann Arbor, Jay Flannelly will join the program as he did last Friday. It was great. We had a ball. Still trying to find the guy on the internet who said he would eat poop if Florida State lost to Boston College. That's something. Here's something, Angel, that doing a little NFL here real quick. I wanted to get this, but I'm trying to get as much video as I can. But this is interesting. If you see under ML football, Darius Slay doesn't want to go to Brazil. Did you see this story, Angel?
I did hear about it.
Well, Darius Slay doesn't want to go to Brazil. So here, if we could play that video. It's under Damian Woody's thing, under Damian Woody. The Damian Woody cut is one. The Florida football rankings are there. Then it's that under ML football.
Hold on. Go back up.
Yep, there it is. So
there's a few Eagles that really don't want to go to Brazil. So he's one of them, but there's a few that really don't want to go.
Well, week one, I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. But, man, I do not want to go to Brazil. You want to know why? I'm here to tell you why. They already told us not to leave the hotel. They told us we can't do too much going on because the crime rate is crazy. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, NFL, why would y'all want to send us somewhere with the crime rate this high? And like, we out the country. So, you know, the first thing people think is, like, something terrible can possibly happen. I told my family, do not come down there because, like, I'm not going to be nowhere to be found. Really, I'm going to be in a hotel chilling, minding my business, playing my game after a long 9.5-hour flight. So I don't have no intentions on doing nothing. I'm going to eat hotel food. I'm doing everything. But they said, yeah, man, it's going to be pretty crazy down there. You know, the police said they're going to be, you know, try to be the best they could possibly be with the top flight security of the world, Craig. You know what I'm saying? So we hope for that, man. But I do go on the trip. Week one, I'm looking forward.
Yeah, see, I mean, you know, in a lot of ways, I can't blame them. I mean, it's like, okay, you can't leave the hotel. You're told not to go out. You can't do anything. You're going to Brazil. The crime rate is ridiculous where they're going. I can't imagine even taking the bus to the stadium. I mean, what kind of security? I don't know. People are nuts these days.
Well, it's good.
That's kind of scary when you have a player that said they don't want to, players that don't want to go.
Yeah, well, it's just like Aurora, Colorado, who's going through the same nonsense. It's just like Brazil Part 2, but it's not Brazilians. It's your Venezuelans who are taking over apartment buildings, and yet they say there's no problem there either. So there's a lot of them that said they don't want to go. A lot of it's because of politics, too, when it comes down to Brazil, because there's a lot of unrest going on down there. So, yeah, it's scary. I mean, look at the guy from San Fran who got shot just going to a store, got shot in the chest over the weekend.
Well, no, he was going through his own autograph signing and got shot over a Rolex watch. Now he's okay. He was released, but I mean, he was going through his own the first round pick for the 49ers. He's going to be out. Pearsall. He's going to be out 4 games. Sean's going to be out 4 games after being shot. So Ricky Pearsall. But he was his own autograph signing and he got shot.
Right, but to me, it should you should be able to wear whatever you want to wear in this day and age and go out there and be comfortable. My thing is, especially, listen, now, again, California, don't get mad at me. This is your state. With all the stuff that's going on out there, especially in San Fran, how much has changed within the last 3 years, I don't think I want to wear anything that says I'm an attention grabber. And it could be anybody. I mean, it didn't have to just be him. But I'm not wearing anything unless I'm going to some private dinner or something else like that. But I'm not rolling around outside someone with a friggin' Rolex watch. Are you out of your mind?
Yeah. Well, again, he's in San Francisco. I think he had a San Francisco jersey. He's going to an autograph signing for the fans. He's in Santa Clara, and some knucklehead tries to rob his watch. You know, a 17-year-old male from Tracy, California, attempted to rob him, resulting in a struggle between the two. And both Pearsall and the suspect were shot during the struggle. But it's just unbelievable. What's
Jay
going on?
In the comments said the poop guy deleted his social media.
Yeah, I'd already said that about 8,000. But Jay, yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing. I said that at the top of the show. That's why you can't find him. That's why we played the Scott Van Pelt thing. He's like, we're going to find you. We're going to find you. We are going to find him. Jay's going to join us in just a few minutes here as well. So all right, Angel, great stuff. Awesome job. Let's take a quick break. And then we'll get into more college football talk with Jay Flannelly up at Ann Arbor. See what he thinks about his Michigan's Wolverines, who struggled a little bit offensively this week against Fresno State. And it's going to be really, really interesting coming up this week. Go ahead, what?
Something interesting, too, is I'm going to read Rick's comment, and something that just jarred my brain here. Rick says, apparently the NFL and the State Department is saying that don't wear green talk is not true. Wear whatever gear you would like. We are the Eagles, and we're not changing to black. But I thought it was very interesting, too, and I'm glad the Eagles are actually doing something about it. So someone decided to put on the SEPTA bus stops that and they put an Eagles helmet on Kamala Harris.
Yeah,
and the Eagles fully support Kamala Harris. They went back and said, nope, we're taking it down. Thanks for making it obvious to us because, again, the politics, sports should never be involved. But the NFL or the Eagles said they never endorsed. So I
believe him. Somebody just I'm sure stuff like that goes on all over the place too. It's just stupid.
Yep.
But they got it. All right, quick break, and then we're right back here on the Pete Shepard Show. More college football talk with my man Jay Flannery. The plan is up in Ann Arbor. All next here on the Pete Shepard Show on the Coastal Sports Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
What's up, Southwest Florida? Jimmy the Beef Guy here. Fort Myers, we answered your call. We're pumped to announce the opening of our second location. It's on 41 just north of the Edison Mall. And guys, nothing's changed here. The beef, the sausage, the breaded steak, our Maxwell Polish. Now serving you in 2 locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. And don't forget, if you're having a party, check out our catering menu. Hey guys, when you're at the counter, don't call it Gardenia. It's pronounced Jardiniere.
Eye on Tampa Bay is the latest news, weather, and traffic for Pinellas, Pasco, Ellsboro, Hernando, and surrounding communities. Stay connected on X, Facebook, and their website, iontp.com. Eye on Tampa Bay keeps you informed on breaking news as it happens. Southwest Florida's newest game in town. Sports Radio 102.9, the game powered by Eye on Tampa Bay. We'll be right back.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I gotta tell you, I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too, but I'm glad we are.
Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and life experiences come together through conversation, and it feels good.
Wow, your story is so...
interesting?
Yeah.
When people actually sit down, talk, and listen to one another, they can break down boundaries and connect as human beings. At lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep, you can listen to amazing, life-changing conversations and find simple tools to start a conversation of your own.
I know one thing. This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too.
Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together by having the courage to start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Whoa! Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Woohoo! Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
If you want the best in sports and entertainment,
you got it. Now, back to the Pete Shepherd Show.
Back here on the Pete Shepherd Show here. It is a Tuesday, September 3rd already. Jay Flanley is joining me. Jay, I can't see you, so I don't know if you need to refresh your camera or what, but okay. I cannot see you. I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Okay, hold on. Hold on. I'm doing it. Hold on, Pete.
It's an Ohio State fan. It's not me.
Hold on. I'm not a tech guy, so that's part of the problem. How do I hold on? Let me I'll just redo it.
Yeah, that's fine. That's usually the best thing. I'm a little bit of a tech guy. Angel is the master of being the tech guy. But so we'll see. Jay Flanley's going to join us. He's in Ann Arbor. You heard him last Friday. We're previewing not just only Michigan and Fresno State, but talking about a lot of different things. And all things college football. So we'll get him on here. The Wolverines are hosting the Texas Longhorns at noon on Fox. Holy cow, what a test that is going to be for Michigan. Fresno State played tough. But Fresno State last year, like I said, they won at Purdue. Fresno State early on plays tough. And, Bulldogs didn't back down. We had Catherine Tappan on. She said it was going to be tough. It wasn't tough. I'd say 2 quarters or so. Then Michigan finally found their stride and ended up getting the win, in the W. I hear your microphone. Your camera's not on.
Okay, I have a new laptop, so that's part of it. Hold on. I'll do this. Hold on. Stop laughing, Pete.
I'm not laughing.
You saw my flip phone. I'm not tech. I'm not a tech guy.
Oh, you want a laptop? You want your laptop, right?
Yeah, I'm on my. It's a Chromebook.
Yeah. Yeah. Make sure you use the Chrome app too whenever you come on this show.
Okay, hold on. Why is it?
I don't know.
My camera's not working at all. That's part of what's going on. You know what I can do? I can get I can do my old laptop. I'll do that. Let's do that. Hold on.
Well, you want to dip the laptop then the other day? Okay. Yeah. No worries. Take your time. No worries. And while we're waiting for Jay to come on, if we go back to my Twitter page and scroll down, and this is going to be a little bit. This is he'll probably be angry. Meaning Jay will be angry. But this is another cut that I wanted to play. Scroll down right underneath Josh Prey. Right underneath that. This is the Mike Gundy taking a shot at Michigan when asked about communications and if you can hear what's being said. Go ahead.
I can't
they won't let me hear it. If anybody's a good IT guy, we'll get the guy from Michigan down here and let him hook me up. Even though he didn't do it. What was that song in, what was that song? You should know. Yeah, the song, it was kind of a partial rap in the shower. It caught me, I didn't do it. It wasn't me. What was it? Yeah.
It wasn't me.
Yeah, that's right, it wasn't me. I know that was you, it wasn't me. I can't, they won't let me hear it.
Now, Mike Gundy, what is that? Remember Coming to America? It's like they ain't nothing but an ultra perm.
Yeah.
What is that on top of his head?
I don't know.
What is that?
And I'm trying to see.
It almost looks like a bad toupee. I know it's not, but God, you went from a mullet and I'm a man, I'm 40 to that.
Yeah, I'm not too sure because it does look like two different hairs. Because you follow the hairline, it kind of goes like a little bit of a slant. So hopefully it's not a toupee. But if you look at the right, like above his right ear, if you're looking on the screen, obviously to the left for those who are following along. But it looks just like it's like a little bit lighter compared to the rest of the hair. So I don't know, unless that was something he just wanted to do for the press conference. But it is kind of a little on the bizarre side.
By the way, there was an incident on September 1st, which was 2 days ago. I don't know if you heard about this. DirecTV and Disney were unable to agree onto a deal. So all Disney-owned channels, ABC, ESPN, etc., were just shut off during the U.S. Open and minutes before the USC-LSU game. How about that?
Yep. There were a lot of pissed off people.
I don't blame them. You have the statement right up there if you want to pull it up.
Yeah, it's up there.
So, DirecTV chose to deny millions of subscribers access to our content just as we head into the final week of the U.S. Open and gear up for college football and the opening of the NFL season. While we're open to offering DirecTV flexibility and terms, which we've extended to other distributors, we will not enter into an agreement that undervalues our football. There he is.
Yep. He's back. Here he comes.
Going through a transition with my laptops.
Don't worry about it. We're just talking about, before we get into football, about DirecTV and Disney being able to get that agreement done. So ABC and ESPN and all the other channels got shut off during the U.S. Open right before the USC-LSU game. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. All right, Jay. How you doing? Jay Flannery up in Ann Arbor. And,
doing good, Pete. I'm glad you had fun in Miami.
Well, Gainesville. I was in Gainesville over the weekend.
Oh, yeah. I mean, at the Miami game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was outstanding. I've never been so hot in my entire life. Lost 10 pounds easily. Drink nothing but water around the hole. It was an unbelievable atmosphere. I mean, 90,000 people. A lot of Canes fans there. I was really surprised, but we'll get to that. An ass whooping. I want to talk about your Michigan Wolverines up there in Ann Arbor. Tough little team in Fresno State. They play a lot of teams tough, especially the last couple of years early on in the season. But your overall assessment of how the Wolverines played, and they're going to need to play better when they take on Texas this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, first point you made is very important. The Fresno State has a good weekend and everything. Fresno State's got a good team. They'll probably win the Mountain West or the league they're in. But, we graduated around 20 guys. About 15 of them are on NFL rosters. It wasn't going to be, easy coming out and just lining up and playing a good team. We could have played shame on you like the Ducks did and some other teams did. And unlike your team did, they went out and played a real team. And we're going through, we lost an historic running back, an historic quarterback. The two guards started for 3-4 years, Zinter and Keegan. A lot of guys on defense. You just talked about the tight end of Miami who's been in school forever.
Yeah,
Mikey Barrett, Mike Sanistro. Like that. They played 4 and 5 years. So, you don't just replace those guys. I thought our defense played really well. Offensive line and the offense in general struggled at times. But again, replacing high-level players. The two quarterbacks, the problem when you play the two quarterbacks is they're completely different players. Yeah. This isn't Chris Leak and Tim Tebow where they can both do a little running and things like that. So I think we're going to move towards probably Alex Orji playing a lot more. But again, it's hard to get him reps in practice. You don't want people tackling the guy. And it's just a tough situation. We were going to be like this anyways because of the guys going pro, but then Coach Harbaugh left and took a lot of the staff. So it's a big transition, but I think we're going to be fine. We'll get better every week. Always remember the biggest improvements from week 1 to week 2.
Yeah. But, now, do you wish you were playing Arkansas State this week and Texas the following week to try and get some of the kinks out, or would you rather just jump right into it with Texas this week?
Well, it's a good point. I want to play Texas. When we got our run going in 21, we played Washington really early. I think it was the second game. It was a night game.
Yeah.
And we beat the hell out of them. They were really overhyped. I think they lost like Idaho the week before. And I think when you're a big name level program, and obviously we were even before we won the national championship, we're a name brand like your Miami Hurricanes are.
Yeah.
But so you want to play big time teams. And let's be perfectly honest with you. Texas hasn't exactly been, killing everybody. I know they beat Alabama last year on the road, but that was a very average Alabama team, particularly at the beginning of the year with Milroe and those guys figuring things out. Because remember, they had Bryce Young and a whole bunch of other guys graduating. So I think
but don't forget about Alabama guys right down to the wire. I mean, that was
I know. But a lot of that,
anybody else but you guys, it probably would have been in the national championship.
Well, they also should have lost to Auburn on the 4th and 35 play.
That's true. That was I forgot about that.
We didn't have one of those all year.
Yeah.
No, but I think let's see what Texas brings. I mean, come on up. They want to come up here and try to. Everybody's going to pick down. And the two networks that come in here. Fox and ESPN and all the idiot flag. How'd that work out? Hold on, BC just scored again. And they could have scored again at the end of the game. No, I like playing big level, high level teams. And here's the thing it's very underrated about this. Coach Moore played at Oklahoma, so he knows about this rivalry. And most of our high end level players are veteran guys. The Colston Lovelands, the Donovan Edwards, Max Bredesen. These guys, Will Johnson is he's a sophomore, but he's kind of more advanced than that. You have to go uncover Roma Dunze and Marvin Harrison Jr. You grow up quick.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to be ready to go. We clearly found another kicker. If you saw him, he's a junior. He might go to the league. He's from Arkansas State, Pete, by the way, which is funny.
Yep.
I know that's what happens, by the way. Like last year, we got our starting corner from my friend at UMass, Don Brown, Wallace there. But that's what happens. You kind of did this with a couple of the guys on your team. Obviously, Cam Ward is a big deal, but there are other guys you got from smaller schools.
No question about
the game. I think how you learn about your team. You grow up when you face fighters. One of the things, you and I grew up watching Marvin Hagler. Marvin Hagler would fight Godzilla on Tuesday, King Kong on Thursday, and Napoleon and Hitler over the weekend. He would fight everything.
No question. And the one thing back in the day I always loved about Miami is that
they were another one. They were an independent like Florida State. They scheduled everybody.
They did. They would play anybody, anywhere, anytime. It didn't matter. Colorado, you want to see? No home and home. No, we'll just go there and kick your ass in Boulder, and then we'll come. We don't need any. But I mean,
Pete, that's how they got Jim Kelly. Because Jim Kelly's from Pennsylvania. By the way, Joe Paterno wanted Jim Kelly to play linebacker. They told Jim Kelly they would schedule Penn State and play on the East Coast. When they recruited him, Lou Saban was the coach, and then Schnellenberger took over.
Yeah, yep.
And then Jim Kelly hurt his shoulder. But you look at their star quarterbacks. Think about the early '80s when you and I were growing up.
Great coach, Steve Walsh.
Jim Kelly's from Pennsylvania. Brady, PA. Yep. Bernie's from Ohio.
Yep.
And Vinny Testaverde's from Long Island.
Yep.
Steve Walsh is from Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to remember where Craig Erickson's from.
I forget Craig Erickson, Berlin, even. It was,
no, everybody's trying to forget where Craig Erickson's from, Pete. It's okay. Don't worry about it. But no, it's always, I always like to look at a team and where the guys are from, and even before the portal and the NIL and everything, because you can tell the quality of competition. If you have a lot of guys from Florida, California, Texas, Ohio, Pennsylvania, usually high level kids and high level players. Every once in a while, you get a Colson Loveland from Idaho. You get a Mike Sanistrell from Massachusetts, Everett, Mass.
Yep.
Caden McNamara from Reno, Nevada. Yep. I mean,
Josh
there's always
Allen, Wyoming. Yeah, I mean,
Josh Allen. But the Josh Allen thing is funny because he had no offers, which is amazing.
Yep.
So it's funny because we were just talking about BC. Do you see the tweet out there about the quarterback ratings from their senior class where Bryce Young was number 1, DJ Lulele, who's going to be DJ to the bench real soon, is number 2. Yep. Number 3 is CJ Stroud.
Yeah. So it's unbelievable. I want to go back to something you just said. It's every time we mention football in Penn State, and I always go back to Requiem for the Big East, which is such a huge thing. How different do you think? And I like to know the butterfly effect here. If Penn State, and I'm sure
the Big Ten.
If Penn State would have gone to the Big East back in the day, can you imagine what that football conference would have been? And then the Big East never would. I don't think they ever would have disbanded because they would have had. They would have had Miami. They would have had Penn State. They would have Boston College. They have Syracuse. I mean, it was a
would have kept Pitt, Syracuse, West Virginia, Virginia Tech.
Yeah. That would have been one, and then the basketball conference.
We would have got Florida State.
I don't know if they would have got Florida State, but I think they would have.
Because with Miami, you need somebody from Miami to play with, and Florida's not going to leave the SEC.
No, but they still would have that rivalry game with Florida State. Even they still did, when they were in the Big East, when they were in the other Big East. But I'm just thinking, what could have been if Joe Paterno didn't spurn Dave Gavitt's offer back in the day?
Sure.
It's really. I always think that would be really interesting because I think the landscape would be a little bit different than it is now. But.
So Pete, you just played into my wheelhouse. I talked to CPR, that's Coach Pete Riley, my high school special teams coach, is still at Andover every day. And this is something we have talked about 100 times. Now, if you understand, Paterno joined the Big Ten to help his Olympic sports.
Yeah.
Because remember the time Penn State wasn't really good at a lot of other things besides football.
No. Yeah.
So he did what he did. And part of the problem, and you just talk about Dave Gavitt, who, of course, left the Big East to go be like the president of the Celtics.
Yeah. Yep.
And that was when you and I were kids. So that was a long time ago, Pete. So what happened was, and I'm involved in all this because I originally was going to go to Boston College, but then I went to St. John's in New York City for 2 years, which was one of the basketball powers of like Villanova, Georgetown.
Yeah.
So the Big East had a football setup and a basketball setup. What happened is they fought over things, and Dave Gavitt's talked about this. And Mike Tranghese and other people, and you're a Providence guy, so
yeah. I'm fully aware of everything that went down, and
it's amazing.
Why the Georgetowns of the world? And I get it. I understand where they were coming from. They didn't want the football problems to be their problems because, and I get all that. It's just if Penn State had gone there, I think it would have been completely.
No, I agree with you. No, but here's the other thing, and you just made another really good point. Because I'm a huge college baseball fan, but what you need to do, and I think we might be heading towards this, is you have a football setup and then you have everything else. Because I saw Chip Kelly and a whole bunch of other people talking about this. UCLA should be playing Arizona in softball. And other, UCLA and all the Pac-12 teams, there's no geography. And God forbid, my business partner, Kathy, she's got family out in Oregon with the Beavers and the Ducks splitting up and the Washington State Cougars. I mean, those are athletic programs. They try to be good. the Beavers are like one of the best college baseball programs in America. They have a really good football coach. Their coach, who was a quarterback there, had to leave over this nonsense to go to Michigan State. So I think that's the bad part of the business model, Pete, where you just talked about the old Big East is a great example. Georgetown and St. John's and Villanova don't play football, or they're not Miami, Notre Dame, and Florida State.
But at least Villanova has an FCS team. At least they have that.
And Brian Westbrook and I believe Howie Long and others who played there. But you have to have a better plan for this. And this would help with the NIL and the portal and everything, because you could control travel and costs. That's the thing with the Olympic and non-revenue sports. Like, as an example, you and I both grew up in East Coast cities, and I'm living in Michigan. Our softball and baseball teams have to travel a lot. The first 6 weeks of the season. They have to go to Florida.
Not only travel a lot, but have very
big travel, like East Coast, West Coast. Yes,
but hard practice times.
Their travel costs are insane. Well, so they got to go.
But the practice time is way down too because and you got to practice inside, maybe in a gym if it's available.
No, it's a huge deal. And then on top of that, you have to get indoor facilities because, like you just said, we have them here. But they're on the road for the first 6 to 8 weeks, and we start having games in March. The weather's bad. We have a couple home games here in March, and the weather's horrible. It's like spring football, basically, where you're held hostage by the weather. But, again, it's just some smart points. My buddy – Eric Bakich, who was the baseball coach here, he left and went to Clemson. And this is a big part. Our current coach was in Indiana, and he went to Arizona State. He's now here. So these guys all know this. I mean, look at the map of the College World Series teams. It's all like the Mason-Dixon line and Mississippi, Tennessee, Vanderbilt, Clemson, and then everybody else below. And obviously Texas and Texas A&M. And even the West Coast is completely kind of fizzled out now that Oregon State, they're going to be an independent. So, but no, they need to talk to people like me and you who look at that we remember how it used to be where you couldn't watch every Michigan game. They would be on 3 times a year before the Georgia and Oklahoma lawsuit in the 80s. But now everything is on stream. Pete, you can watch Southern Montana State backgammon on the internet. On ESPN Plus. You and I do this all day. We can watch anything on TV now. And let alone MLB and NHL.com and MLB TV and all this stuff and NFL Network and NFL Plus and NBA TV. It's never been better to be guys like me and you who are from one area but live in another part of the country. And on top of that, Pete, if we want to go to bed at 10 o'clock and go to bed and then get up in the morning and watch the game, we can do it. It's a replay.
That's right.
And let alone NESN and my Mets on SNY and the idiots in the world who watch the Yankees on Yes and all the other stuff out there. And
they just lost Garrett Cole. You saw they lost Garrett Cole last night.
What a shame. Oh, yeah. How many games does Senga pitch for the Mets this year, Pete? He pitched 6 innings. He pitched 6 innings. And his leg fell off.
I'm not saying you should have sympathy. I'm saying for Yankee fans, you better.
Trot out Darryl Strawberry and Dwight Gooden again. F the Yankees, please.
By the way, real quick before we get some football stuff, you mentioned Chris Leak earlier. So the first year I'm down here, I'm working at ESPN Southwest Florida. We're playing in a charity flag football game. It actually met.
Oh my God, that must have been.
Actually met Senator DeSantis and his wife before he was governor and everything. But he was there. It was a big charity event that we were doing, and we go to play. It's a big bank or a mortgage company that sponsors it. I forget. Yeah. So we win our first game. We go out. We're supposed to play in the second game. Now I'm already exhausted. I mean, it's for 7-on-7, and then all of a sudden the team we're going to play. Guess who the quarterback is? Chris Leak, because he's
from Carolinas, right? Is that where he's from?
No, but he wasn't.
I know he played in Florida, obviously, but I think he's from the Carolinas.
Yeah, but he was there. He was working for this bank.
Yeah, number 12. I remember him. He's awesome.
Yeah, and he's quarterbacking the other team. I'm like, oh my God, really?
Okay, so Pete, did you ever play in any charity events with Flutie?
Yes, I played his
Oh
golf
my God!
many-
You realize
many
how
years.
good he is at everything?
Well, he's a great drummer. His band was great afterwards.
Yes.
No, I
Yes,
played in
with
that
his
tournament.
brothers. Yes.
I played in that.
Billy and Darren. Yes.
Yep, I played like 6
But,
years in a row.
I mean,
Yeah.
have you played basketball against Flutie?
No, he couldn't play basketball. They wanted him to play basketball when he was over there.
Somebody told me he can slam dunk a basketball.
I wouldn't doubt it. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. You know what his favorite play of all time is, don't you? It's not the Hail Mary. You know what he'll tell you?
Oh yeah. He would just show up at Conti Forum and just go in and play. So they gave him the key. They gave him the key to the building. He would go and play basketball like lunchtime.
You know what his favorite play of all time that he'll tell you is not the Hail Mary. It was his high school. He kicked the game-winning field goal, the championship game against Birmingham, I think. Something like 48 yarders in a blizzard or a mini blizzard. He'll tell you that's his favorite
Is that the
play
thing he
of all
had never
time.
kicked before or something?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, the kicker got hurt. He came in. He's like, "I'll try it." Boom.
So Pete, I was wearing his BC jersey yesterday. That was my my kickoff. What a job by Bill O'Brien and his staff. He's got two incredible coordinators, by the way.
Well, unbelievable. The attitude. I mean,
maybe one of them can be the Florida State coach.
They dominated Florida State last night.
Oh my God!
He ran 260 yards. 260
I know.
yards.
But Pete, here's the thing. Always remember this. And you and I, we go back. You were buddies with Silas and Diossi, and they're both great examples. Power always works and travels, and they have their whole offensive line. But particularly Drew Kendall, Pete Kendall's son.
Yep.
And Ozzie Trapillo, Steve Trapillo, rest in peace, his son. They were killing people. Killing people. And you have the quarterback who's an RPO, quarterback draw guy. So you, as a D-line, you have to respect that. You can't just run across the line. You have to read. And if you delay at all and don't react, that's what happens. And they just beat them up. They played good defense. They tackled. They allowed the one big play on the sideline. There was a missed tackle, and the guy ran through three dudes.
Yeah.
But it was a lot very similar to your game.
Yeah,
where Miami
absolutely.
has the dominant front seven. Yeah. They have the superstar quarterback. I call it the Peyton Manning Colts model. Have an elite quarterback and a dynamite pass rush with Dwight Freeney and Brock and those guys. So that's what kind of you have. You know, when you do figure out how you're going to win games, that's what you have to have the model. Like we have a great defense here in Michigan, so we're going to run the ball. We found Hassan Haskins as a replacement and Mullings, Boston kid.
Yeah.
And then Donovan and mix and match Colston Loveland and the receivers and Orgy and guys. Move guys around. But when you have one dominant side of the ball, you can play around with the other side of the ball. It's like when you and I were kids, Oklahoma with, Bosworth and Jamel Holloway and those guys running the option. And then Nebraska with Vince Gill. Not Vince Gill. I'm going country on you. Kendall Gill.
Kendall Gill. Yeah.
No, not Kendall Gill. Turner Gill. Turner Gill and Irving Fryer. The team that lost to Schnellenberger and they went for 2. And then Tommy Frazier and Brooks Behringer and the great teams they had with Lawrence Phillips and all the other guys they had. But you put on, like our 97 national championship team. We didn't have a great offense, but we moved the ball and we had Charles Woodson.
Yeah. Excellent.
And one other guy. Well, 35 NFL players.
Again, speaking with Jay Flannelly this morning. He's in Ann Arbor, a founder of Beeves World and a whole bunch of other stuff, and very tight with the Michigan.
You always get points with me because you say my name right. Nobody does that.
Well, how are you supposed to say it? Flannelly.
I've been called Flannery, Flanagan, Flaherty. I just say call me asshole. And the other thing is people spell it wrong. I mean, it's like I don't think it's that hard. Just call me Beef. Just call me Beef. And Pete, you can call me whatever you want. You're shut.
No, I'm glad to have you on board. This is fantastic.
I'm glad to be here. Anywhere, and especially with you, my man.
I love it. Notre Dame, I'm not surprised they won at Texas A&M at all.
I was a little surprised.
I thought the wrong team was favored in that game. Okay. I went 4-1 this week. My one loss was to Mr. Brian Kelly's people who can't finish 15.
He's going to have time to spend with his family.
3 plays inside the 15-yard line, you come away with 6 points. And then him, pounding. I got to do better. Here we are again.
Yeah.
He and Billy Napier had the same recording over and over again. It's the same thing. And that the lack of discipline for LSU at the end of the game, the targeting stuff and all that, they had no business losing that game. I mean, the quarterbacks were very good in the game. Don't get me wrong. Both of them, Moss Miller played a little bit better. Nussmeier, they're both the real deal. But don't you feel like Napier and Brian Kelly are on the same cycle in a bad way? It's the same spiel every week.
Yeah. Well, you're right. But there's the financials with LSU. Now, remember, they fired Coach O. They fired Les Miles. And that's a whole other story because the guy who brought me to Michigan was the reason why they fired Les Miles. That's Cam Cameron. They told Les to fire Cam Cameron, his offense coordinator. Yeah. And Les said no, and then they fired everybody. And Les got like a $45 million check 2 days later because it was in his contract. And then they fired Coach O a couple years ago after the Burrow teams. LSU just burns money. It's like what Florida State did last year with Jimbo. The Napier guy, he's been there. I think he's been there longer, and they've been way worse.
No, there's no question. He has not.
And there's no LSU is close. Florida is not.
No, I agree. There's no way. I don't think Napier's got a $28 million buyout. I don't know if Napier's going to make it through the end of the month. But my man Otis. Hey, my man Otis, like the polo. Yep. I know he's a big
Otis,
my man. He's awesome.
So Pete, here's the other thing. You can have a ham sandwich at LSU, and they're going to be able to recruit. I mean, look at the receivers they get.
Yeah.
I mean, they had the 2 guys who went last year high in the draft, the one to Jacksonville, and then the other one to the Giants. And the third guy who's their star now, he's a high pick. They got the 2 tackles. One of them is going to be on the Patriots. And they got 1 million guys on defense. So, and they always have good players. It's a cool place to go. Shaq's at the game, Livy Dunn,
Paul Daniels was there. Yeah.
Paul Skeens.
More people there than the Super Bowl.
More
people there than the Super Bowl.
Yeah. And the other thing with Brian Kelly, he's such an a-hole that nobody likes him. And, it's like kicking sand on the wimp at the beach when he loses. You're excited to see him. And he just acts like he doesn't behave. Like, now that Harbaugh's gone, he's probably the most polarizing. Like, he's Ric Flair. They watch him to kick ass or get his ass kicked.
Well, the other thing, too, speaking of that, but look what Napier did. Napier made the ultimate mistake the other day after the Canes whipped their ass. And goes on his press conference and he starts ripping his fan base about people Mama's Bay and Liberty Mama's Bay. Talk show hosts can do that. You can't do that as a head coach on that type of program and rip your fan base, people that are paying your salary. He got eviscerated yesterday.
Right. We had an athletic director here that did a lot of that stuff. And it was around when we brought in Harbaugh, and he was a disaster. And he couldn't do anything right. I mean, and it was just a bad environment. And usually when you have something like that, you have to make a change. I think Florida is going to have a big name star coach next year. The obvious name is Lane Kiffin, but there's another one, and he's in the Big Ten now. And it's upstate, up in the Pacific Northwest. He's a big alum there. He was Howie Roseman's roommate in college. Jed Fitch at Washington.
Well, okay. Yeah. I would love to see Lane Kiffin.
Good friend of mine.
I would love to see Lane Kiffin go to the
He was with the Patriots in 20, I think. He was the quarterback's coach in 20 when they had Cam Newton.
Yep.
And he was here in Michigan with Jim Harbaugh his first couple of years. And he
Jay,
just looked at that Arizona quarterback and receiver there today. Those are his guys that he left to go to Washington for. So now Washington job is a really good job, Pete. You know this. You watch.
Yeah,
that's a good place to coach.
Also,
that's Steve Belichick. He's there. He's the DC.
Oh, that, yeah. But University of Washington, that is one of the great places. I have a couple friends that went there. They live down here. What a
have
great
you been
place.
There?
No, but my friends went there.
That's your next trip.
The tailgating and boats and everything and all that stuff on the harbor.
Yeah.
It's just nuts.
It's like Tennessee's like that too.
Yep.
Speaking
All right,
of,
Jay.
I mean, there were a couple other ones that you mentioned briefly I want to discuss because these are two guys I beat on, two programs I beat on all the time. Penn State, I thought they were going to get their asses kicked. Tremendous credit. I nicknamed James Franklin Field Goal Franklin because every big game he plays in, they only score like a field goal. They played really well. They really pushed around the West Virginia team. And you mentioned Notre Dame. I talked to you the other day about they had their offensive line going into that game had 6 starts with all the guys, Alt and all the other guys graduating. So I thought that was really impressive. Texas A&M's like one of these paper tigers. You always think they're good, and they always lose like 3 or 4 games. Outside of when Johnny Manziel and Mike Evans were there, but no, I think it's the thing. And the other one, another guy I beat on, the USC coach. He's got a defense, Lincoln Riley.
Yeah.
And they showed a lot of toughness, and it was like, who do you hate less game with him and Brian Kelly? But I thought USC showed a lot. It's going to be tough for them in the Big Ten.
Yeah, but I agree. I agree with this. Is the problem that I have when talking about a game like that. I mean, was it Lincoln Riley's defense that really did a good job, or is he fucking ineptness?
Red zone stuff.
Red zone stuff continuing again for like going. So I mean, I'm sure the truth is somewhere in between. But man, LSU had
in the first game too, Pete. First game stuff.
Yeah.
You have slop. First games, you always is an anomaly. You may remember in the NFL, I think it was last year, didn't San Francisco go into Pittsburgh and get their asses kicked in the NFL? That was ridiculous. There's always one. The Patriots always struggled in game 1 with the Belichick-Brady teams. I think they lost of the 6 Super Bowls they won. I think they lost 4 of the first openers of the 6 openers.
But this is the same problem we've seen day in, year.
Oh yeah. There's patterns, no question.
There's no question.
If you want to learn about history, look at the past. The future. You got to look at what happened previously. No, you're right. There's certain things. The whole thing is, if you win a week, you just win and figure things out after. It's easier to move on off a win than a loss. I mean, we had some clunker games last year. Bowling Green early. JJ had the 3 interceptions. All my buddies on the Bowling Green staff confused us and did some things. But no, it's a guy. One of Tom Brady's best friends is the head coach, Scotty Loeffler. Guy I used to coach is the defensive coordinator. Bunch of other guys there, Eric Campbell, the strength coach. They're all Michigan guys, and that's a great job, by the way. And they've been in a bowl game last couple of years. Lefty's done a great job. Lefty was the OC at BC about 5 years ago at the Dazio. And he was also Tim Tebow's quarterbacks coaches last year at Florida.
Wow.
With Urban Meyer.
Amazing stuff. All right, Jay, man, I'm up against it. Got to take a break. But always
I'll stay.
Let's do this again. No, I got somebody.
Oh, okay. I got you.
But let's do this again. I don't know, even maybe the end of the week or definitely next week. I love having you on. It's so much fun.
Okay, so just real quick, Pete. Patriots record.
4-13. Being honest, 4-13.
Yeah, I think you're about right.
I want to see.
Champion.
I just want to see competitive. I have Baltimore with Detroit.
Pete!
Well,
why do you do that to my people?
Oh, maybe
you just killed all my friends, all 3 of them.
Well, let me say this: I'm picking Baltimore and Detroit in the Super Bowl, and then we'll see who's healthy and whatever. If it gets to that, then maybe reassess. We'll reassess. But those are
my pick. I told you in July was the Bills in Green Bay.
Yes.
I'll tell you this. Listen, I hate to say this to you. I just have a feeling about the Jets.
Well, certainly on paper. On paper, there's no question. But it's still
there's no way the Chiefs
the story that came out Friday after we got off.
Yes, the Aaron Rodgers story.
Friday,
Great point. Great call,
Aaron
Pete.
Rodgers, the GM, some anonymous GM said that team is a fucking mess. They don't like Aaron Rodgers. He's not a team guy. They don't like what he's doing. And they just said there is, quote-unquote, disarray on the Jets organization.
Okay, so give me a surprise team you like that you think that nobody's talking about, like how Houston was last year. Because you're like me, you watch a lot of stuff.
Can I make Jacksonville a surprise? Or is that,
I love them too. Good call. Yes.
I think Trevor Lawrence is going
They were great last year, and then Trevor got hurt.
Yeah, I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be the MVP discussion this year. I think the Jaguars, That's a tough division. Don't get me wrong. We all know that.
Better than
But
people
I
think.
think Jacksonville's got a big chip on their shoulder. They're gonna surprise some people.
Okay, I like them too.
I like Tampa Bay also. I think Tampa Bay is gonna surprise some people.
I love Todd Bowles. I just have a feeling about Arizona. I think Marvin's going to really help Kyler Murray. And obviously everybody's talking about the Bears and Washington. Washington doesn't have enough offensive line, but I like Jaden Daniels. The Bears could be good, but that division's good, even with JJ down from Minnesota. But obviously the Lions and the Packers are really good. They're both going to win at least 12 games. And then, the Bears, that team at the end of the year, Justin Fields just running around not knowing what the hell he was doing, and they were competitive. But I think, I don't know if the Patriots are going to have the worst record, but I'll tell you a team that might beat them out. It's unbelievable, the Steelers.
Yeah,
the Steelers are going to be really bad.
Dysfunctional disarray, no question. Jay,
Mike Tomlin coming to a television near you.
We'll see. All right, Jay, thanks so much. Let's do this again soon. I'll be in touch. This was awesome.
Hey, Pete, love you, buddy. You and Angel stay well. We'll talk soon.
All right, thanks a lot. Jay Flannelly right there. In Ann Arbor Live, founder of Beaves World of Stuff. Hey, Otis, thanks, buddy. You got to call in sometime. You want to come on video. Wig was on video last week, and you can always call in, Otis. I'd love to hear from you. But you can, I know you're out and about, you're outside all the time. You don't have time to but you can come on through your cell phone as well if you want to come on via video. We'd love to hear from you. All right, quick break. When we come back, more college football stuff. We're going to replay a couple of videos that you may not have seen in the 7 o'clock hour. One is absolutely hysterical. And then we'll have Mick Colagio on at the bottom of the hour. Big announcement from him that I have about him. And then we'll talk a little tennis and even a little hockey. There's some stuff going on with the Bruins that my New England fans listeners, I should say, might be not aware of. But we shall see. All part of the Pete Shepard Show. Here, we're already well into hour number 3 on the Coastal Sports Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
What's up, Southwest Florida? Jim and the Beef Guy here. Fort Myers, we answered your call. We're pumped to announce the opening of our second location. It's on 41 just north of the Edison Mall. And guys, nothing's changed here. The beef, the sausage, the breaded steak, our Maxwell Polish. Now serving you in 2 locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. And don't forget, if you're having a party, check out our catering menu. Hey guys, when you're at the counter, don't call it Gardenia. It's pronounced Chardonnay.
Eye on Tampa Bay is the latest news, weather, and traffic for Pinellas, Pasco, Ellsboro, Hernando, and surrounding communities. Stay connected on X, Facebook, and their website, iontp.com. Eye on Tampa Bay keeps you informed on breaking news as it happens. Southwest Florida's newest game in town. Sports Radio 102.9, the game powered by Eye on Tampa Bay. We'll be right back.
Okay, men, this is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. I know you won't, because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick and proud aunt. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing. But not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. 1 in 6. That little girl sitting alone at the playground, she can't play like the other kids. She doesn't have the energy because she's hungry. School lunch will be her only meal today. It breaks my heart that this is the reality in our country, but it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. This food is then provided to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about using your imagination, learning, and having fun. These children shouldn't have to miss out on simply being a kid because they're hungry. To find out how you can help end childhood hunger in your community, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
The Pete Shepherd Show. It's fun for the whole family.
If it's dysfunctional.
Back here on the Pete Shepherd Show and the Coastal Sports Network. We are well into hour number 3. Thanks, everybody, for checking us out across the video platform. We're kicking ass, baby. Follow me on Twitter, X, on PShep326, on Facebook at SR1029thegame.com. Powered by Ion Tampa Bay. That's Ion TV. Also, CSN Florida, Rumble, Spotify, LinkedIn, Twitch, and YouTube. Call or text at 727-858-6650. It was a very healthy, somewhat unhealthy trip for me to Gainesville. The heat almost died of sunstroke, but that's okay. It was well worth it for the game. I lost 10 pounds of water weight, as much bottles as I was drinking. I was happy that the bottle of water was only $5. They also had drinking stations, a couple areas of the stadium where they had tons of paper cups, and you could just, get some water, free ice cold water. But it was hot as hell. You heard if you were listening on ESPN, Joe Tessitore, and Jesse Palmer were talking about the heat. The reason I know, I went back and watched the game when I got home. Yesterday, so it was hot as hell. 90,000 people. It was something. It was a sight to behold. There were a lot of Canes fans there. I mean, mostly Gator fans, obviously, but way more Canes fans there than I thought. Meanwhile, and then if Gainesville getting whipped by Miami wasn't good enough for me. My second favorite team, of course, Peter Cowley went to Boston College, so I always root for Boston College after Miami, and they thumped Florida State in Tallahassee last night. If we could play that, I have right under the show a new tweet, Angel, of Taylor Tannenbaum and the ACC Network after the game last night with quarterback Thomas Castellanos reaction.
Because you do so much for this team, not only do you throw the ball, you're running all over the field. That means recovery is extra important for you as QB1. It's a short week. You can play again on Saturday against Duquesne. What does the week look like for you in particular?
Well, I go to Boston College, so we got class tomorrow.
There you go.
Let them know. Let them know. We get back. I got to go to class tomorrow in the afternoon and stuff like that. But treatment, is going to be available, massaging, stuff like that, and just recovering, getting in the weight room with, the coach Fitz and them and their staff is really good. But we have a really good treatment and training staff and a weight room staff, and we do a lot of good recovery and stuff like that for our body. So I'll be fine. But I got to go to class tomorrow.
Because you do so
well, they didn't get home. They didn't get in. It's actually the time I got up this morning was 4:30. They were just landing at Logan. They didn't get until 4:30 in the morning. So yeah, a few hours to sleep. But I mean, by the time you unwind, it's probably like 6 o'clock, 6 in the morning. And then he said he didn't have class until the afternoon. But yep. So they have it if you're into kids going to class and playing college football. But good for him. good for him. That's a mandatory off day today. I can't imagine what practice is going to be like for LSU today. I can't imagine it. I can't imagine LSU and the Florida Gators. I would not want to. That is going to be. We'll see what Billy Napier and Brian Kelly have up their sleeve next. Like I said, BC has Duquesne, Miami has Florida A&M, then Ball State. So they should, whatever minor kinks that they had in the Florida Gator game. And no game is ever perfect, but I'm sure they'll work stuff out against Florida A&M and Ball State at Hard Rock coming up. If I could, Angel, impose upon you again, to one of the funniest cuts that we have heard is from the comedian from Naples down here. Played it earlier. It's worth playing again. Josh Prey, a big-time Florida Gator fan, beyond belief. And he had the best reaction of any Gator fan. I listened to sports radio up in Gainesville after the game. They were eviscerating. They wanted Napier shipped off to Mars or some other foreign planet. But this is absolutely Joey B says, no ESPN network channel on DirecTV now. WTF. Yeah, we talked about it. It happened on a couple of days ago. All right, here's Josh Prey and his hard-hitting analysis on the Florida Gator football team.
My name is Josh Prey, and I come to y'all humble as I can. This is game one. I love the Florida Gators. I die for the Florida Gators. The University of Florida football team has me sitting in front of a Denny's, damn it. When the last time you on purpose went and sat in front of a damn Denny's, damn it? I'm not saying nothing disrespectful to Denny's, but there's a lot of other options. And that Gator team, after watching, Miami fans came in there. I've never seen nothing like this. It would look like it was about 12 of them at the start of the game. And then it multiplied. Went from 12 to 20,000 to 40,000. They had a little corner in the left side of the stadium over there, and they were saying things I wanted to know so bad what they was chanting at us. And then the damn quarterback, he was moving in fast, slow motion. He was looking like Neo in the Matrix. He ain't look that great, but damn it, he was great. There was so many Haitian men and Cuban men and Asian men and women and white men and women. Miami brought a melting pot. They brought a whole damn crayon to the University of Florida, and they just scribbled all over our damn stadium. I am 40. I'm trying to lose weight. The doctor said if I yell, my blood pressure gonna be high. My blood pressure is higher than Carmen Electra ass in the 90s right now. You understand me? I am in front of a damn Denny's right now. A Denny's right now. That is Denny's out there. Florida Gators, y'all supposed to make me want to go to Ruth Chris. Y'all supposed to make me want to go to Ruth Chris and get a medium steak, because I know how to eat a medium steak now, in the water with a couple of lemon. I want to be exotic. I throw a lime in there. But no, you got me in Denny's where I'm not sure if the damn plates are clean and they wash their forks. But you know what? I don't care. I ain't finna go in here and ask for no plastic. My fat ass finna go in here and sit at the bar. You know how pathetic I gotta be to sit at a damn bar in Denny's? I'm not going to Texas no more, Miami. I'm not going to Texas. I am going to Texas. I'm just going, because y'all took everything else away from me. Might as well take the rest of the little bitty ass money I got, because y'all came to Gainesville on the damn Saturday at 3:30 and ruined my damn day. I got a whole night to go through. It was so many. Carolina said that. South by say they throwing up the stupid ass U, touching their thumbs at the same time.
So about
and then the Miami Women fan base is so damn fine that you mad and you angry, but everything they wearing is hypnotic. I'm talking about from 25 to 65. I seen a woman that was 72 years old with a white sweater. Baby, you could take them to... I can't go through this no more. I can't do this no more. All I want to do is tell jokes and root for the Gators, and we win a little bit. I understand we gonna lose sometimes. My delusion has become real. My delusion has become real. My delusion is real. I am in front of a damn Denny's right outside of Gainesville, and I am stressed. My box is just broke right now.
Josh Spray, oh my God, comedian down here in Naples, and obviously was up in Gainesville. Like I said, that Denny's was down the street. If that's the same one I'm thinking of, he was in Gainesville. Oh my God. So yeah, the thumping that the Gators got by the Miami Hurricanes, 41-17. They'll rebound this week. They got Samford, not Stanford, but Samford at home. Then they're home to Texas A&M, which I don't know what Texas A&M is going to be, and I don't know what the Gators are going to be. Then they're at Mississippi State, home against UCF, at Tennessee, home against Kentucky, home against Georgia. Then at Texas is what he was talking about. I'm not going to Texas. Well, he is going to Texas, he says. They play at Texas on November 9th. Good Lord. Then home against LSU, home against Ole Miss, and then they close it out with Florida State. This is the toughest schedule in the history of college football. There's no question about that. But Billy Napier, who ripped the fan base the other day after the game, talked about them, in their mom's basement, made some stupid remarks, and he got killed for it. And Brian Kelly. Well, let's play that before Michelangelo comes on too. There's one more, one of the funnier rants of the week. Brian Kelly after the game and their pathetic loss to USC, which they had no business losing. I'm not just saying that because I took the over. That's my only loss of the weekend, by the way. 4-1. One on Miami, one on Notre Dame, one on Boston College. What else did they win on? Where's my picks? I'm keeping track. So, Georgia minus 11.5, Notre Dame plus 3, Miami minus 2.5, BC plus 16.5. Lost the over 64.5 with the stupid LSU Tigers because they can't score a damn touchdown 3 times inside the 15-yard line to come away with 6 points. But that's okay. I'll take 4-1. No problem. All right, whenever you find it, Angel.
Disappointing when those guys perform and you don't get a victory.
Hell yes. I mean, and that's what I said to the team. I said, we had some guys played their butts off tonight, and we're sitting here again. Talking about the same things. About not finishing when you have an opponent in a position to put them away. But what we're doing on the sideline is feeling like the game's over. And I'm so angry about it that I got to do something about it. I'm not doing a good enough job as a coach. And I got to coach him better because it's unacceptable for us not to have found a way to win this football game. It's ridiculous. And it's crazy.
Disappointing when those guys.
The only thing that would have made that better is if he banged the table and the bottle cap fell off with the water and then the water went all over the place. That would have been funny. Yep. Unlike Billy Napier, who earlier tried to open the water bottle a couple of days ago and couldn't do it. By the way, Billy Napier with the Florida Gators, 1-8 versus rivals, 2-11 versus ranked teams, 9-4 versus unranked teams. 4 of those wins, by the way, of those 9 are FCS non-power 4 teams. 2-4 versus Vanderbilt and Missouri and Kentucky, and they're on a 6-game losing streak. Absolutely unbelievable. Albert Lichtenstein, who writes for the Sun Sentinel, has ranked the top Florida schools in the state. University of Miami 1, UCF, Central Florida 2, USF 3, FAMU 4, IMG Academy 5, Blanche Eli High. Then number 7, West Florida, Then 8, the Florida Gators. 9, Florida State Seminoles. It is just absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Oh, man. Again, Mikolaj, we're going to join me in just a minute or two here. We're going to talk some tennis and some hockey news. Aaron Murray, who writes for ESPN, you've seen him. He ranks his top quarterback performances for week 1. Cam Ward, number 1. Miller from Miami. Miller Moss, number 2. USC. Garrett Nussmeier, number 3 from LSU. Number 4, Diego Pavla from Vandy, number 4. And Shedeur Sanders from Colorado, number 5. Yeah. How about Vanderbilt? Just crazy. Upsetting Virginia Tech. I heard so many people talk about Virginia Tech and NC State, and I'm like, okay, one game at a time. But man, oh man, we'll see. Okay, one more video, if I may. I just tweeted it out. This is on Get Up this morning, and I heard Paul Feinbaum on the show yesterday, say this already, but this is Feiney ripping Billy Napier for ripping his fan base. Should be right underneath that. It should be right underneath the show, Angel.
All right. Trent Williams signs an extension.
Yep, that just happened. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Come back over.
Simply egregious, Greeny. I mean, here's a guy who's really down to his last breath. He's lost more games, Greeny, in 2 seasons and 1 game in the swamp than Steve Spurrier lost in 12 years. And he is going after his own fan base. Those folks who go to Walmart and buy Gator jerseys and beg and plead for tickets to his games. I mean, that is one of the most inexcusable shots I have ever seen. And one more thing here, Greeny. I don't live in Florida, but I was there over the weekend at that game. They don't have basements in Florida. It's too close to the water. So Billy, know your geography, my friend. Simply egregious.
Yeah, that's kind of true. That is kind of true. Not many people have basements in Florida. There's no doubt about that. Joey says Urban Meyer going to be the only solution to Florida. Yeah.
Yep.
I do not think that is going to happen. I do not think that's going to happen. All right. We just saw that 49ers Pro Bowler running back Christian McCaffrey missed most of training camp with a strained calf. He's expected to return to practice today. And 11-time Pro Bowler offensive tackle Trent Williams and the 49ers are finalizing a deal. I believe it just got done. We'll get to the details as soon as I have them about exactly what the contract details are. Brett McMurphy says, weird stat, no college football teams suing their current conference has won this season. Talk about FSU, Clemson. I mean, it's hysterical. It's hysterical. Let's see. All right, how about one more tweet, Angel, just from Get Up. I love this segment that they do every week, the best pancake hits of the week, which are fantastic. So we can play that, and then I'm sure Mick is going to be joining us at any moment. Should be right underneath the show, yeah.
All right, here we go. Rest of the season. Come on. Dominique will be here tomorrow. I got to play Dominique. Graziano's playing the role of Dominique. Oh, my God. I can't do a good Dominique. He's got to present him back. I can't do a good Dominique.
Here we go. Hey, Jason Patterson. You want to talk about how to start a season, yo? Bowling Green knows how to start a season. Here's what we got. First play of the game, first play of the season. Oh. Get some of this. Jason's going to give this business and in business. Oh, my word. Peels back for 2. You got to love it. Now, listen. Talk about a tempo setter for a season. How about your coaching staff and you go take and Bowling Green walks it in for a 100-yard return. It don't get better than that. And to put the highlight, don't look at him. We ain't worried about him. Worried about the people doing the hard work, blocking for folks. There he is. Jason Patterson, congratulations, my man. First pancake of the year. We're giving you 1 pancake. It's special team, but I still love what we got. Yeah. Number 2, we're going USC. Hey, McCray. listen, there's a saying in football, it's called score with your man. If you're near the goal line, you take him and walk the dog with him. Dump him on his back to finish the play. How nasty is this? This is fit and finish, score with your man, and dump him. LSU, hey, I mean, I really wish Swagoo was here to show him what's up. This is physicality at its best. USC taking you to task. 2 pancakes, my man.
Pancake. What's he yelling on that when he's on his down? Receive it.
Receive it. We had that for the next one.
Okay, go.
Here we go. Number 3. You can't finish any better than this right here. Check him out. Hey, the running back lays a hat. I want to see it from the back end. I don't go to the side end. Let's go from the back end right here. Watch him step up. Full receive. There is a receive it. Trying to come in on the blitz and you get caught by a running back? No, sir. That is what I'm talking about. Finish him up. Hey, you better come in there with some different intentions, my man. 3 pancakes for that kind of finish. When a running back starting the season off right, full participant, that's what I'm talking about.
Great stuff. Great stuff this morning. I love the pancake segment. It's awesome. It's awesome. All right, joining me right now. It's been a little bit, but my good friend Mick Colaggio is joining us via video. You know Mick, awesome. One of the best sports writers in the country for hockey and other stuff, and tennis as well, for that matter. BostonHockeyNow.com. The hockey news. He's on a whole bunch of podcasts. And I say, hang on a second. Let me do this right. I'll play the sound effect for once. The Angel doesn't have to play. First of all, I'll give you a twinkle.
Oh, boy.
And his lovely fiancee, Lauren, recently engaged and married next year. Congratulations, Mick and Lauren. Is that okay? I hope that's all right. I mentioned that.
I'm absolutely thrilled to shout that from the mountaintops. Best thing that's certainly happened to me in my adult life.
Even better than the Bruins winning the Stanley Cup.
Sorry. Sorry, not sorry. I know what to say.
Absolutely. Well, that's all. I'm so happy for you. I can't tell you. That's great. And hopefully myself and Peanut Gallery will be able to come up for the wedding next July. That'll be a lot of fun. Be great. I can just picture, even though it's in July, instead of wearing that tuxedo, you're going to come down in full hockey pads and skates and everything. I could see you doing that.
Yeah, I hope to be in that kind of shape by then, because I'll be retiring from my news editing job at the end of September, and there'll be a little time off. And I think there's going to be some calisthenics to come with that, and hopefully the smacking of some tennis balls, and dare I say, buying the last pair of skates of my life. So
wow. Well,
I'm way overdue to buy a pair of skates. It's been a couple of decades.
Wow. Well, you're a great tennis player anyway. I played with you once. You killed me. But no, you hit the. You
tried to be nice. Tried to be nice.
You were toying with me, patronizing me. We'll get to some tennis in a second. It's been some interesting, Miss Pegula as well, the Buffalo Bills' daughter.
Don't leave out the Sabres.
Yeah. Thank God for the Bills. I mean, I don't know what they're doing with this. Maybe the Sabres. I mean, how'd you like to be a Sabre fan? Is there any? Just real quick. Is there any hope for that organization? Every time I think they got some talent on that team, but
they do, especially on the back end. I think I love their D, and I feel like they're a couple of moves away from being a team that could possibly cause a little stir in the division, but it's a tough division. I mean, you got the Stanley Cup champion, you got the team that won it before them, you got the Boston Bruins, who have shored up their team at key positions for this coming season. You got the Leafs with their new captain, Austin Matthews. You got Detroit, which has some exciting young players and gets a little better every year. And then you got a few hot messes there that are trying to clean up their act. And so that's a really, really tough division. I think it's the toughest in the league.
Before I wanted to get your thoughts on the horrible about Johnny and Matthew Gaudreau. And I had Catherine Tappan on from Ann Arbor Friday, right about 45 minutes after the story broke. So we were reminiscing about, covering him. And she was there at Nesson back then, and she knows the family and all that. I'll get your thoughts about that in a second. But so what's going on with Jeremy Swayman and the Bruins?
Swayman has educated himself in the ways of business. He majored in business at UMaine. He's taking graduate courses in business at Stanford, and he is now almost as if he were his own agent in terms of his intelligence, engagement, and ability to understand the whys and wherefores of this process. And therefore, he is very strong-willed, very strong-minded, the same guy who has that swaggering confidence that makes amazing saves and has elevated the Bruins and gave them great goaltending through 2 playoff series this past spring, is the same guy who's towing the line right now while the Bruins are lowballing. So, do you believe the 10 million report? Frank Saravalli poo-pooed it. I don't know. I kind of feel like if you want to wind up at 8 times 8, which I think is the reasonable place for him to wind up, then I can see the Bruins starting in the 6s somewhere and him starting somewhere around 10. And we haven't reached the 11th hour yet. And I just revived my rink wrap after a summer siesta with a little history lesson on Byron Defoe.
Oh, I remember that. Byron had tremendous. I mean, that one year under Pat Burns and that defense where he had 10 shutouts, right? I mean, it seemed like
led the league, and he finished 3rd in the Vezina Trophy. Dominic Hasek was the Buffalo Sabres backstop that year. That was the year that Hasek took the Sabres all the way to double overtime of Game 6 of the Stanley Cup before Brett Hull stuck his skate in a blue paint. Playing position even inside the crease, and then home, and the NHL said nothing to see here. And the greatest parking lot interview of all time: a lady was walking to her car, and she was interrupted by a TV reporter, and asked her about her reaction. She said, "This is Buffalo. We know the drill."
But today, that goal would have been overturned. That would not have been allowed.
Oh, not even close. Not only was he in the crease, it was goalie interference.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it was blatant goalie interference.
No
he
question.
planted his skate in the blue paint, and Hasek could not get his paddle laying on his stomach and reaching forward. His stick runs in his Paul's skate. That's goalie interference.
Yep, no question about it. What else is going on with the Bruins? And when is rookie should be reporting soon, right? All that stuff. The new guy.
Well, I'll tell you what,
not that far away.
The team has sanctioned media availability for 2 captains' practices this week, one of which occurs in about an hour, and wow. The other one will be Thursday. I'll be attending on Thursday. That's the plan. So speaking of Lauren, I want to wish her a happy 6-4. Paul McCartney here to sing. I'm not sure. I recently learned from the great Montreal Canadiens historian Dave Stubbs that actually, believe it or not, that Ringo was the first vocalist for that song, not Paul. And
really?
There is a recording out there somewhere where Ringo sings it. And coincidentally, I heard that recording for the first time ever by accidentally about a month before Dave Stubbs told me this. And I knew it sounded funny, but it just never occurred to me that it could be Ringo. But when you hear it again, you say, yep, that's Ringo. And it's just so, yeah, when I'm 64 by the Beatles, it's pretty strange. So,
well, of course, I'm known down here for singing Marilyn Monroe's version of Happy Birthday.
Do you really do that?
Happy birthday,
Mr. President.
Lauren, happy birthday to you. Yeah, that's very good. Yeah, I get goosebumps.
Yeah, so do I. Yeah.
Well, when you go to practice on Thursday, they're still in Wilmington. Oh, no, they're in Brighton. That's right. They're across the street from where I used to work. That would have been convenient. Why couldn't they have been there?
It's amazing now. Yeah, they got the rink that overlooks the Mass Pike. and it reflects. You can see your own car driving in the windows of Warrior Arena going up the Mass Pike.
So what will you be looking for on Thursday when you see these guys? How many guys are going to be there? 80?
No, captain's practices is leaving less than a full squad because not all the Europeans are in town yet. So you won't have everybody there. But I think what I'll be really kind of interested in is if Georgy Merkulov, the Russian forward who played center and left wing Providence Bruins, he got one recall last year for a couple of games playing fourth line, which really is not where he's going to shine. And then he went back down and picked himself back up and had a good season with the P Bruins. And the other guy who had a really good season with the P Bruins, but it ended with injury, was Fabian Lysell, the former first-round draft pick, 21st overall in 2021. And so he's at a point in his career where he should be making his push. And the Bruins have an opening at second line right wing. If you assume that Elias Lindholm will center Pavel Zacha and David Pastrnak, and that Charlie Coyle is going to play with Brad Marchand, and that everything will trickle out from there, then the right wing position on the Coyle Marchand line is going to be a true competition, and you're going to have all kinds of things happening there. And if Lysell shows up and has a sparky camp, he's going to get his looks. He'll probably have to prove that he can't do it, while other guys will have to prove that they can do it. And I think Morgan Geekie will be in that mix. I think they're looking at several possibilities there that they may just revolving door if Lysell doesn't grab the bull by the horns. But this is his big chance. So we'll see how he does.
All right, Michelangelo, I want to talk some U.S. Open tennis with you, if I may, a little bit. Now, there was an incident, not quite a McEnroe incident. That's just McEnroe yelling at the umpire. But did you see this woman from Kazakhstan? By the way, we have listeners in Kazakhstan. I kid you not. Yulia, do you see this? Yulia Putintseva. She was playing Jasmine Paolini, and she humiliated the ball girl. She stared her down, and there was a real ugly incident. So much so that even Boris Becker commented on it. Did you see any of that by chance?
I saw the short version of the video on anti-social media. Yeah, I'm, as a former line judge, 5 U.S. Opens in the 1990s and many other professional tournaments in New England and Florida, I've been witness to a lot of situations that were offensive regarding ball kids. And the worst one I remember is actually one of my first years down in Newport, Rhode Island, on one of the side courts when they used to use the big field courts out there, close to Freebody Street and Stadium, Rogers Place football.
That was a tournament always after Wimbledon, right?
Correct. And in fact, they just had the last one. The ATP it will not be back, but the WTA will be there next year in a challenge.
All grass, besides Wimbledon, right? It's the only
grass court tournament in the U.S. professional.
Yep.
Yeah. So, so what we got is a situation here where Putintseva, is pretty upset, and the ball kid's supposed to do what they're supposed to do. They get their own protocol. If you don't have balls, you put your arms down by your sides with your palms open and show empty hands. If you do have them, then you hold them up. And if the player faces you, you don't wait for a nod or a please. You just bounce. You throw one bouncer to them. But Putintseva just let the kid just throw the balls at them and didn't catch them and just let them go by.
Yeah, Angel has it.
It was rude. Well, the poor kid's confused here.
You little bitch. I mean, she got her. It
was not a good look. It's not a good look, and it was in a big stadium. So you're on a huge stage here. I've seen it, and in this much smaller surroundings, out in field courts and things where players and I don't remember the name of the player, but it was a male player who was not famous, but he was known more for his doubles than his singles. He was playing a late afternoon singles match, and he came out there and he just was like in a real bitchy mood, and the kids couldn't do anything right in his estimation. He treated them as though everything they did was wrong. Like, oh, disgusting,
Yeah.
you know. And I'm just sitting there like, man, I want to grab this guy's racket and, you know, belt him with it, you know.
What was the what's the worst thing? What's the worst thing that ever happened to you as a linesman as far as being abused?
Probably my first U.S. Open when I got accidentally a lady player came running back after a lob, and you don't run out of the way if you're calling the long lines and you're standing up against the back fence. You can crouch and hide yourself a little bit, but you're not allowed to run out of position. And she came back and chasing a lob wound up hitting me in the head with her racket.
Oh.
She left a mark. She didn't. I mean, fortunately for me, her swing was kind of spent when she made contact with me. So while I was momentarily stunned, I was not concussed. I was not bleeding. I was just, but I did have a red mark on my, you know. Up
she apologized,
where it says, she felt awful, and I think that they were probably going to remove me from the court, but I insisted I was okay, and I stayed in there. I was fine, you know. So I was not like delirious, you know.
No, absolutely.
I was not out of it. So, but that's there's always been some good ones. I mean, you know, there's always players who are going to react, and there's players who aren't, and there's going to be situations where you know you made a mistake, and you're the only one in the stadium who knows you made a mistake. And then there's other people that you know, the whole place is whistling at you like you screwed up, and you know you didn't. You know, so it was a line judge. You have a very rare perspective. Now they don't have them anymore on the tour. Hence, starting in 25, there'll be no more line judges on tour. I don't know if they're going to keep it for the French Open or other clay court tournaments, because the checking of the mark is a part of the protocol for the chair umpire if requested on clay courts, and the line judge, as part of that protocol, is told that, you know, hold your mark. You know, in other words, if you're the line judge making that call, make sure you know where your mark was and don't take your eye off of that mark, so that if requested by the line judge in that situation, you can go walk there and show it to them.
Finally, Mick, I want to, you know, in the early days, I mean, when I was a kid, and you're just a couple of years older than me, but I mean, I was a big fan of, you know, Jimmy Connors, McEnroe, not so much, but Jimmy Connors just celebrated a birthday.
That's right.
Born in 52. And you had some amazing numbers, 5 U.S. Open titles on 3 different surfaces. I had forgotten about that. 74 on grass.
Yeah, he won 74 was the last one on grass. And then the
Forest Hills
won 2. 1974.
No, but where? Who had the grass?
I had just graduated high school. Flushing, Forest Hills. It was a U.S. Open. So Forest Hills is right down the street from Flushing Meadow.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so the old Horseshoe Arena there, the old Horseshoe Stadium they have there, that was where the U.S. Open was played, the culmination of the tennis season, and really when tennis was really on the rise in the U.S. as a spectator sport, and a lot of celebrity. We don't have McEnroe for a few more years yet, but Connors is there, and Borg's like 18 years old.
Yeah.
He was the first match I saw in person was Bjorn Borg playing in the U.S. Pro at Longwood Cricket Club, and the final was 3 out of 5 sets. And Tiny Tom Walker had him down like 5-love in the first set, and I think he won one more game. So, but
Jimmy Connors,
I ran right to Leechmere and bought a racket after that.
I'm made out of wood too. But Jimmy Connors won 109 titles. 109.
Yeah, and I guess Novak is at 99, I think. So it's coming along for Novak. If he hangs in there, he could. It used to be the speculation was about will Roger catch him. Well, now it's will Novak catch him, and Novak, depending on the kind of schedule he sets for himself and what kind of luck he has going forward with his body. Because you can see now that Novak, when he got overwhelmed in that match by Popyrin's a big dude, and he just flung flames out there, and he just happened to hit everything. The guy was just, you know, everything he touched was gold, and Djokovic just didn't have that swagger where he just pressures you from the baseline with those aggressive shots to safe areas and wears you down and takes away your legs. He just didn't have any of that against Popyrin. It just was like putting the ball back to him, and then Popyrin would hit the winners. And it was a little funny, see Djokovic in that situation at the U.S. Open where it just wasn't there. I mean, this year, a big thing for him was winning the Olympic gold. And he obviously had the, situations earlier in the year. And now we got Jannik Sinner, who's playing at such a high level. His match last night was really impressive against Tommy Paul. Paul, is a hell of a tennis player, got to tiebreakers in the first 2 sets against Sinner, but Sinner just has this amazing ability to defend for such a lanky guy. I think he's like 6'6", but he can stretch out to that backhand, kind of like Venus Williams used to take away the will of opponents, the way she could stretch out to her backhand side and grab a low trailing shot that you would think would be difficult for a lanky woman to reach across her body with her backhand. Instead, Venus used to just do the splits in 2 hands straight out, dig that thing out and just shove it right back. And, and just like, it's like, I thought I had offense off that shot. Instead, Venus has offense. Well, Sinner has this shot, very similar. He reaches out way wide to low ball that's aggressively hit and brings it back harder. It's amazing. That was the key point in the rally that really gave him that mini break in the tiebreaker that set him forward, and Tommy Paul just didn't have anything left in the 3rd set.
Mick, this was awesome as usual. My friend Jay is loves you as a guest. I love Jimmy Pete, says I worked his great run in '91 at the U.S. Open. And in that era, Borg, McEnroe, Ash, Stasi, Lendl. And don't forget, the first time I ever heard anybody swear on TV, Mick, I think it was 1981 or 2 on CBS. I don't know if I told you this. CBS had a U.S. Open and the late, somewhat great, Vitas Gerulaitis.
Yeah.
Said, and I quote, "The goddamn ball was on the fucking line."
Really?
Pat
Pat
Summerall said, we apologize for that.
We're apologize. I can picture him and Tony Trayvon on that one, dancing around.
clear as day. Came up.
I think it really bugged Vitas. Vitas was the New Yorker. And McEnroe from Long Island, and they played the 1981 U.S. Open semifinal. And McEnroe was starting to dominate Connors, starting to beat Borg, and he's at the top of the game. And Vitas has got a great chance against him in the 81 semis to go 5 sets, and McEnroe wins. And boy, did Vitas give it to the chair umpire on his way off the court. He was not happy.
He was
the late great Vitas. Yeah, I think that probably the pinnacle of my life as a short life as a line judge at the Open was my first one. I had the nighttime quarterfinal in the Armstrong, which was the stadium at the time, between Pete Sampras and Michael Chang. And Sampras hit my baseline on the first point of the first game of the match. And McEnroe, I could see McEnroe right up there in the booth with Vitas. I'm thinking I'm going to get skewered here if I don't get this right. So, but it was next thing you know, we're off the court because our hour came up. So we start the match. We sit there for the warm up. We get all the buzz. We get the hype. We get the first game of the match, which back then was a full changeover after the first game. You didn't wait till after the 3rd game of the match. And next thing you know, we're being relieved by a new set of officials. Next time we go on court an hour later, it's to the grandstand, which used to be hitched on to the stadium. And so I never saw another point of that match, just the very first game. So
unbelievable.
That was like as big as it gets for me.
No kidding. That's awesome. Mick, thanks so much. Congratulations to you and your fiancée, Lauren, and happy birthday to her as well. This was awesome. And we're getting to that time again.
I know. Hard to believe. The nights are getting cool, Pete.
Yes. The days are longer. The nights are stronger than moonshine. I should have been a singer.
Wow. We are in America. Let's not forget that.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. All right, my man. Have a great
Take care, buddy.
We'll talk soon. Thanks a lot. Mick Colazio, you too, from the BostonHockeyNow.com and RinkWrapMC.com. He's awesome. Check out all this stuff. Just one hell of a guy. And that is gonna do it for this one. Angel, what's coming up on the network?
Absolutely nothing is what's coming up. No, not much other than obviously lots of work that I didn't get to over the weekend. But no, a couple updates as usual. Thanks to everybody too who checks out the website. We do appreciate it. A lot of traffic as of late over on SR1029thegame.com. We do appreciate it. But no, and then I'm off today. Obviously it's Tuesday, and then off. We'll be back tomorrow in full stride, and then that's pretty much about it. Just a bunch of updates.
Awesome. All right, we'll have another great show lined up for you tomorrow. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of college football talk, and we're one day closer to the start of the NFL regular season between Baltimore at Kansas City. And we'll start to get into a lot more NFL stuff now tomorrow as well. All right, thanks to my guest today. Jay Flannelly was awesome, and Mick Pelagio. Angel, great job as always. I am Pete. I am back here tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Until then, have a happy and safe Tuesday. Bye. FSU. It's all about the you. It's all about the you.